and obstructing employers from verifying citizenship. You can't make this up. On September 5th, a federal grand jury in Chicago indicted a major Sinaloa cartel boss, narco-terrorism, guns, and drug charges. On July 11th, we announced a guilty plea for Ovidio Guzman Lopez. You may know him as the son of El Chapo, one of the worst narco-terrorists in the world. In the world, Senators. In Chicago. He entered a guilty plea to drug conspiracy and 2 counts of knowingly engaging in a continuing criminal enterprise in the state of Illinois. I could continue with fentanyl. I could continue with child predators in Illinois.
Well, thank you. I think I've seen numbers over 100,000. So Chicago and other sanctuary cities, you're making it harder for us to deal with illegal immigration by doing what you're doing. And I am glad President Trump is trying to change those policies. And if you need the National Guard to bring order out of chaos, so be it from my point of view. Now, let's get back to the topic sort of at hand here about how the law is being used politically. In September 2022, Attorney General James from New York basically said in a campaign that she would go after Trump, his business transactions, and his family with full force. November the 15th of 2022, Trump announces his candidacy for president. November 2022, 3 days after Trump announced his re-election campaign, Jack Smith was appointed by Garland to be special counsel to look at classified information, document mishandling, and trying to undermine the 2020 election. In March, President Trump was indicted in Manhattan of 2023, just after announcing 34 felony counts. And what they did is they took misdemeanors and turned them into felonies by using a legal theory that no one in the history of Manhattan had ever been charged with. June 2023, a federal grand jury in the District Court for the Southern District of Florida indicted President Trump on 37 charges regarding classified information. Now, all I can say is that taking a hammer to a hard drive in bleach bit apparently doesn't make the cut. Having documents in the garage of President Biden doesn't make the cut. In August of 2023, he was indicted yet again regarding the 2020 election. So all I can say is that in September 27th, Jack Smith's team asked for my phone records and 7 other senators. Now that's just the 2024 election. Comey, are you aware of the fact that in August, Comey, then director of FBI, August of 2016, was in a meeting at the White House where it was discussed that by Brennan, then CIA director, that there was intelligence that maybe the Clinton campaign was trying to cook up a narrative that Trump was a Russian asset?
Senator, I believe that has been reported publicly, but I cannot comment on that.
Okay, well, I'm just telling you. Now, this is a campaign for president in 2016. In July, they open up Crossfire Hurricane. In August, they have a discussion in front of President Biden that there's intel that maybe this is generated by his political opponent. Nothing happened. In September, are you aware of the fact that the intelligence community sent a memo to the FBI director detailing intelligence that suggests as Clinton's campaign is behind the idea that Trump is colluding or cooperating with the Russians?
Senator, I believe that has been reported.
And that was addressed to the FBI director and Mr. Strzok, this memo. Are you aware that he told this committee, I don't recall that, the FBI director?
Senator, I can't discuss anything.
Well, I can tell you this. What the hell would you recall? You're the sitting FBI director. There's a campaign for president going on. You've opened up an investigation believing that the Republican candidate may be a Russian asset. And now all of a sudden, less than a month later, 2 months later, you have 2 inquiries, 2 events to suggest it may be his political opponent. Did anybody in the FBI inform the FISA court or anyone else about this activity that you know of?
I can't discuss that matter, as you know, Senator Green.
Should they have? Is there a requirement by law enforcement to tell the court if their warrant is being sought or a defendant that there's exculpatory information out there about you?
In general, of course, Senator.
So, to the country, the FBI director gets a memo from the intel community. This may be all a political plot by his opponent. They didn't do a damn thing. Are you familiar with the Steele dossier?
Yes, Senator.
That was a dossier prepared and paid for by the Clinton campaign. Are you aware that it was that document was used to get a warrant on 5 different occasions against Carter Page, an American citizen?
Yes, Senator, and that has been...
Are you aware of the fact in February 2017, after Trump is president, the person who gave Christopher Steele the information, the Russian guy, told the FBI the information I provided you was all bar talk, hearsay, and not reliable? Are you aware of that?
Yes, Senator.
Was there ever an effort by the FBI to tell the FISA court about evidence that the man who helped prepare the document retracted his statement?
I can't discuss that, Senator.
Should there have been?
Can't discuss that.
You wonder why we're looking at Comey? Give me a break. Why are we looking at Comey? Because he ran an FBI and personally knew about exculpatory information and let it slide. How in the hell can 2 FBI agents interview a man who says the document you're using against a sitting president to suggest he may be a Russian agent or Carter Page that is now no longer reliable? How does that not get to the court? Can you tell me how that doesn't get to the court? You can't, can you?
I can't, Senator, and I
Can
can't
you tell me why my phone records, when I'm the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, were sought by the Jack Smith agents? Why did they ask to know who I called and what I was doing from January 4th to the 7th? Can you tell me that?
No, Senator, and there were 8 senators in total.
Do you think that was an abuse of power?
Senator, I cannot discuss whether there is or is not an ongoing investigation. If I may add one thing, they also wasted $50 million on what you just described, trying to put President Trump in jail prior to the election.
Before Senator Whitehouse, I want to introduce and correct what is called the Durham Annex. The annex is a declassified appendix to John Durham's report about Crossfire Hurricane. The Durham Annex contains information exposing a reported Clinton campaign plan to falsify and tie President Trump to Russia. For years, I've fought to assemble and publicize all the facts surrounding Durham investigation, Crossfire Hurricane, and related matters. The Durham Annex was declassified as a large part because of Attorney General Bondi.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask you a question?
If I can answer it, yes.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Mr. Chairman. Are you going to hold a separate hearing on your whistleblower account of the FBI investigation of 8 United States senators?
I think we need, my answer to your question is I think we need to wait until we see what the FBI can report and whether it's necessary to have a hearing. Right now, I haven't ruled one out, but I haven't made a decision.
And what year do you think that will happen in?
I want the FBI to be a thorough investigation of it and report to us what information they can give us, and I don't know how long that'll take.
With respect, are you giving them a certain period of time?
I have not given them a certain period of time. I'll discuss that matter with my staff and see if that needs to be done.
Okay, if civil suits are filed against the perpetrators at the FBI. Will that facilitate your investigation?
Well, what's the question again?
If the 8 senators who were spied upon sue the hell out of the Department of Justice and the perpetrators involved, will that facilitate their investigation and or yours? I guess what I'm getting to is I don't understand why we don't have a separate hearing. I find this breathtaking.
It's just been 24 hours since the FBI investigated on it. Please give me an opportunity to sort through all this.
Fair enough. I just don't want to wait 24 years to get an answer.
We do have an active investigation going on through my staff. I want to make that very clear. Mr. Whitehouse, or Senator Whitehouse.
Thank you, Chairman. Ms. Bondi, good morning.
Good morning.
What became of the $50,000 in cash that the FBI paid to Mr. Homan in a paper bag, evidently?
Senator, as Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche recently stated, the investigation of Mr. Homan was subjected to a full review by the FBI, agents, and DOJ prosecutors. They found no credible evidence of any wrongdoing.
And that was not my question. My question was, what became of the $50,000 in cash that the FBI delivered, evidently in a paper bag, to Mr. Homan?
Senator, I'd look at your facts.
Saying that they did not deliver $50,000 in cash to Mr. Homan?
Senator, as recently stated, the investigation of Mr. 5 FBI agents,
That's a
5
different
Department
question.
of Justice prosecutors. They found no evidence of wrongdoing.
That's a different question. What became of the $50,000? Did the FBI get it back?
Mr. Whitehouse, Senator Whitehouse, you're welcome to talk to the FBI.
The report to you, can't you answer this question?
Senator Whitehouse, you're welcome to discuss this with Director Patel.
Did Homan keep the $50,000?
As Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche recently stated, the investigation of Mr.
Never mind.
Homan
I can
was
see I'm not going to get a straight
full
answer from you
review
to a very simple
by the
question.
FBI agents and the DOJ. They
you
found
know-
no credible evidence of wrongdoing. You know, you're very concerned about money and people taking money, and
Do
you
you
rail
know-
against
wait a
dark
second,
money.
wait a second, wait a
Yet you
second,
work with dark
wait a
money
second.
groups all the time, Senator
Wait a
Whitehouse.
second. Did you know whether or not in that investigation they looked at whether the 2024 $50,000 payment to Mr. Homan was declared by him on his tax returns?
Senator, I would be more concerned if I were you when you talk about corruption and money that when you pushed for legislation that would subsidize your wife's company.
The questions here are actually pretty specific. So having you respond with completely irrelevant far-right internet talking points really is not very helpful here. I'd like, Mr. Chairman, you generally like to have us be able to get answers, to know, and we'll follow up with the QFR, and to the extent Patel wants to answer, that would be great as well. What happened to the $50,000? Did Homan keep it? Did the FBI get it back? If he kept it, did he put it on his tax returns? Pretty simple questions. Homan was the same guy who said there was a deal with Eric Adams. He said, if Adams doesn't come through, I'll be back. I'll be in his office, up his butt, saying, where the hell is the agreement we came to? Which brings us to the OPR investigation of prosecutorial misconduct by Emil Bovee, because he was also involved in that transaction. Yeah. what became of the OPR investigation of prosecutorial misconduct by Emil Bovee?
Yeah, Senator Whitehouse, to correct you for one moment, that would be the Honorable
that would be it.
Judge Emil J. Bovee III
Ew.
to you.
Not
Oh,
at the
God.
time of this. He was.
Oh
an
my
employee of
God,
the
she
Department
needs
of
to
Justice.
go away.
And what became
What is
of the
wrong with these
OPR
people?
investigation
It's
into
all
his
pending litigation.
What's wrong with this cunt?
Senator, I can't discuss pending litigation nor personnel matters.
OPR
Why is it?
customarily publicly says when there's an investigation, and at the end of it, they provide a summary. Why can't you say whether there's an OPR investigation and whether, if it's concluded, there's a summary?
Senator, I'm not going to discuss personnel matters.
Even
So
public
there.
ones.
Senator, I'm not going to
Senator.
discuss personnel matters.
Good morning.
So,
Is it morning?
Kash Patel told this committee that his grand jury testimony after immunization,
She's such a
after
bad,
initially pleading the fifth,
liar.
was, and I quote, sealed by the Department of
GP.
Justice. How and
Annette,
when and
Annette
why
got one too. Yay.
was his
Jane, you got
testimony sealed,
one.
and by whom?
Jane, you got a membership.
Senator, I'm not going to discuss any
Anyway, good
testimony,
morning.
especially
I don't have any
testimony that could be
coffee.
sealed with you.
What is she
No, the question
doing?
is, was it or was it not
What
sealed?
is she doing?
Senator, I'm not going to discuss that with you.
What?
Well, he also said that he worked with the Department of Justice to have his transcript released publicly.
Oh God, we're on this again.
How
Ah, oh, my ear came
and
out.
when
Oh my God.
was his transcript
Ow.
released? Presumably, if he released it publicly, that's something you can discuss because it's public.
Well, Senator, I believe you discussed that with Director Patel.
No, you're
And
his
I'm
boss.
asking you
Come
because
on,
he
bitch.
said the Department of Justice made this decision,
Oh.
and you run the Department of Justice.
Oh.
I would refer that to Director Patel.
Even though you
He
run the
works
Department
for
of
you.
Justice and he
Even though he
testified
works for
that the
you?
Department of Justice released his transcript publicly.
If it is released publicly, we will get you a copy, Senator.
What
Gladly.
is her? She's so weird.
If, being a rather important word there,
I don't even get
when
it.
your FBI director
How is this
testified
okay?
that
How
that
is this
was a fact.
normal? Good morning, everybody.
Treasury compiles suspicious
Matt.
activity reports,
So sorry.
referred to often as SARS, that DOJ receives automatically. Hundreds related to accounts of Jeffrey Epstein. How many of those Treasury SARS did you or Director Patel investigate?
Senator, I'm not sure if you're concerned because you took
No.
money, I believe, did you, from Reid Hoffman, one of Epstein's closest confidants, not only once but twice in 2018 and 2024, if that's correct.
Oh, so her
Senator,
job is to find everybody's
you ask
name in the
Merrick Garland
files
any of
and
this?
then,
Over the last 4 years when he sat before you,
what?
Why
this
don't
investigation
I
has been
ask
going
you?
on. This
They've been
investigation
in, it's
was
active
closed.
court
Did you ask
cases, you
Alex
stupid
Acosta
cunt.
that?
and
Oh.
Patel came to office.
Oh, I hate
you
this
said you
bitch.
would look into this.
I want bad
There were
things to
hundreds
happen to
of
people. I'm
suspicious
sorry. I'm down
activity
on that one now.
reports. Some people would deduce from the fact that they are called suspicious activity reports that there might be
It's my,
suspicious activity. And yet you seem to have looked at 0 of those suspicious activity reports involving Jeffrey Epstein.
I want her gone. I want
accounts.
Pamela Jo
Let me ask you
gone.
something
Where's
else.
her
There's been
congestive
public
heart
reporting
failure?
that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those
Can you ask her why she flouts
in their search
judges'
of
rulings normally,
Jeffrey
like
Epstein's
as a
safe
course
or
of her
premises
daily
or otherwise?
duties?
Have you seen any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I
What?
believe. I could be wrong.
I
correct me,
believe.
Reid Hoffman. who
Reid
was
Hoffman
with
what?
Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions.
What?
And the senator
Reid
sitting right
Hoffman.
next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released.
Reid Hoffman.
Yeah, you're
Oh.
grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein? Come on.
The question is, Did the FBI
I
find
guess that's exactly
those
it. Thank you for
photographs
summarizing.
that
That's what I
have
would
been
say.
discussed publicly
Yeah, thank you for summarizing.
by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him?
She
don't
doesn't
know anything about that.
She's a robot.
Okay. Here's what well, no, we cut to something else.
When did this start?
The Marshal Service is supposed to protect our federal judges. I have asked repeatedly for the Marshal Service to let me know if they are investigating or being inhibited from investigating whether or not there is orchestration of threats against federal judges, whether under either conspiracy laws or racketeering enterprise laws or aiding and abetting laws, whatever.
My morning's off
But
to a
as you
roaring
know,
start.
there's the person who says the threat, and then there may very well be somebody orchestrating the threat behind them. Is the Marshal Service allowed to investigate orchestration of threats, and do you know if they've taken one step to do so?
May I answer the question, Chairman Grassley? The time has expired.
I think it's the convention of the committee that if I've started my question in my time, you may answer the question.
I was asking the chairman.
Okay, before I go to Cornyn.
She wants to answer the question, Chairman.
Oh, please go ahead. I thought you said you didn't want to answer it.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry.
Thank you. Senator Whitehouse,
Oh my God.
I would be happy to sit down with you regarding any threat to any federal judge.
Okay, well,
in
someone's
this
house just
country.
blew up
We
after
take threats very
Walmart.
seriously. I will
Apparently
set a
you don't.
meeting with
Walmart
you,
Nosferatu got
with
some
Director
judge's house
Serralta of
blown
the
up
US
in South
Marshals,
Carolina.
And I will be there. And we will talk about any threats on federal judges.
Okay,
including
okay. Why are
threatened
you
them
so
or who
upset?
orchestrated them.
Bingo, thank you.
Okay, before Cornyn
Oh my God.
speaks, I get kind of amused about my Democratic colleagues bringing up Treasury suspicious activity reports regarding Epstein. When Senator Johnson and I issued our Biden family reports
Oh my
in
God.
2020,
He's not
we
president.
used information from these very same type of documents. And you know what? We were criticized by our Democratic colleagues for doing so, and for years they ignored the evidence of the Biden family criminality. I don't think my colleagues can have it both ways. Senator Cornyn.
Well, actually, we can.
General Bondi, 6 out
Called
of
follow the
10
facts.
Americans say
Fucking
they
hell.
live from paycheck to paycheck.
What are we doing here?
And I'm sure that includes a lot of federal employees, Border Patrol,
How about the ones who are fired?
FBI agents,
How about that?
people who support them, frontline prosecutors. Do you find it somewhat inconsistent that our Democratic colleagues claim to support law enforcement
Yeah.
and the rule of law, but yet they vote to deny those same individuals the pay which they've earned?
You're right, This is it now.
Yes, senators, our law
Where we
enforcement
live.
agencies, DEA, ATF,
This is
FBI,
where we live.
U.S. Marshals, and all the other federal agencies, Homeland Security, Treasury, all the agencies, all of my federal prosecutors, all of our employees are working tirelessly,
These are
national
feelings.
security,
These are
around
feelings.
the clock to keep this country
That's not
safe
data.
and to keep this world
Those are feelings.
safe.
Those are feelings.
Yet, the Democrats voted to shut the government down.
More
and they
feelings.
are out there working
More feelings.
without a
Well,
paycheck,
technically, they
with
did-
families
never
at
mind.
home, risking their lives every single day. Thank you for pointing that out, and thank you for caring, Senator.
Oh my
Cornyn.
God. Yeah, they give a fuck.
So let's get back to
Oh
some
my
basics.
God. I
The
just
Constitution
want
of the
people
United
to be,
States
I don't think I
is
can
the
do this
supreme
much
law
for
of the
you
land,
guys.
is it not?
Yes, sir.
Applies to all
It's fucking
Americans,
ridiculous.
the entire country.
Hey, Grace Lisa.
Federal law, likewise,
Yeah, lemon
applies
heads.
to the
Yeah.
entire nation, does it not?
Yes, Senator.
And so when federal law enforcement agents go to cities like
Yeah, they're
Chicago
just
to
working their
enforce
own- yeah.
federal law,
Right?
they are acting within their authority, are they not?
Yes, Senator Cornyn.
So on what legal basis
Corny.
would a governor or a mayor say, we're going to deny
Yeah,
or
on any basis
prevent
they fucking
a
want.
federal law enforcement agent from enforcing federal law. What
Oh
would
my
be the legal
God.
basis for them to do that?
You know, Senator,
think
there's not one.
I think
and as I stated, there were 571 homicides
when
in
she's done.
Chicago last year. And that's why right now Director Patel and Deputy Attorney General
105?
Todd Blanche are on their way to Chicago. I've been to Memphis. They're in Chicago right now.
Why are they in Chicago?
To protect the people of Illinois.
Todd Blanche is protecting
and
the
what
people of
Senator
Illinois.
Graham, the point he was trying to make earlier was that when you don't cooperate with law enforcement, if I was a TDA member, if I was a Sinaloa cartel narco terrorist, you know where I'd go? Chicago, because they're not enforcing the law. And they're running
And
their
the barbecue
operations,
is
as I stated earlier,
amazing.
two of the biggest terrorists, narco terrorists, we arrested
And
right in
stayed for the
Chicago
pizza.
because it was a safe haven for them. And they're operating these networks around our entire country. So we are going to keep our entire country safe. We're going to protect
Takes
all
a long
Americans.
time to get to Chicago.
If these senators
They're probably
aren't
on their
going
way.
to vote to open our government, to let
That's
these
what-
people, our people,
Pam's
work
right.
with,
They're
for
just
pay-
on their
with
way.
paychecks,
Don't worry
they're
about
going to do it anyway, whether or not the locals are cooperating with them. We're going to be there protecting
Okay.
all Americans in this country.
Oh, stop.
Senator Cornyn.
Stop
I find
it.
the
I find it
comparison
ridiculous.
between the nation's Washington D.C. here in the nation's capital, where the mayor has welcomed the federal law enforcement agents, which as I travel around the city, are providing a level of deterrence
Yeah, easily. They don't go after
against
the
crime
criminals,
that
just
I
the
have not
citizens.
seen before. And Washington, D.C. happens to be one of the most dangerous metropolitan areas in the country. So seeing what the response has been by local officials here in Washington, D.C., seeing how the public here who visits here as tourists from Texas and elsewhere, how they're welcoming this federal law enforcement presence, it strikes me as a stark contrast between what we've seen in places like
Hi,
Chicago.
Hi, everyone.
And I
I'm
just
so
don't
sorry.
understand
I'll say hello
how
after we're
elected
done.
officials are sworn to uphold the law and the Constitution of the United States could take the position that, no, we don't want a safer community in our major
We don't
cities
want a
that have
safer-
a high
yeah.
level of crime like
Don't want a
Chicago.
safer community.
Doesn't it strike you as bizarre?
Senator Cornyn, I don't understand it either, because we've been working hand in hand right here in D.C. with Mayor Bowser. She has been an incredible partner.
I have a
at
feeling Mayor
making
Bowser has been
DC
run over
safe
by a freight
again.
train.
We've been working with her. We've been working with the police chief. We've been working with their staff, and the numbers speak for themselves. 3,156 arrests, 294 illegal guns seized. I think the number's probably higher today. Carjackings down 87%, violent crime down 40%.
So you just need to surge a bunch of
right here in the
well-paid
nation's
soldiers?
capital. I've been out there countless times before they go out
So
on
if
the
you have
streets,
more soldiers
and
than
I'm
criminals,
watching the DC
Senator,
Metro
everything's
Police.
fine.
I'm watching them
Don't worry
with
about
the
it.
Transit Authority police, who of course keep our metros safe. I'm watching them with our DEA, FBI,
Don't you want a
ATF,
soldier
U.S.
telling you where to
Marshals,
park?
Treasury agents, and HHS has even provided doctors out there to help the team.
Whoa.
And what they
Who?
are, they're a team.
What?
And they are working hand
Is that because
in
they
hand.
break people's
If you couldn't
arms while
see their
they're
shirts
catching?
on their insignia, you wouldn't know what agency they were with. I've truly never seen a partnership.
I saw the new
like
Freedom
that
Corner
in
grift
my
last
career,
night.
and it's working
Easily,
together.
unfortunately.
And that's what Illinois is refusing
Now it's
to
worse.
do. And I
I
wish
expect
these
a whole
senators here-
cast of
I wish
characters to
Senator
show up
Durbin
in
would
Portland
condemn
soon.
the governor of Illinois and have him work
God.
with us.
Fucking hate this life.
With us, like we're doing now in Memphis. We have the governor of Memphis. We have our two
Annoying,
great U.S.
worst
senators
people on
in
the
Memphis.
planet.
We have the mayor of Memphis, the same, the chief, working hand in hand there.
Last week, maybe the week before last, I lose track of the days, we had the head of the Metropolitan Police Union for the District of Columbia here, and I asked him
Stop
about
it. The
violent
union
crime
guy
in our
is the
communities.
worst.
And I
The
asked him
union,
if-
police unions are
whether there
fucking
was a
Nazis
straight line
times 10.
from the open border policies of the Biden administration,
off.
which helped facilitate
Oh, you know what? Why haven't we arrested
cartels
Biden?
from
Why
exporting
isn't Biden up
their
here
poison
talking about it?
to the United States, only to then find it distributed.
Somebody go
by
get me
criminal
Joe Biden.
gangs who then engage in violence in our communities like Chicago.
Good morning.
To protect their
I'm okay.
territory.
I'm here.
And the profits that go along with that illegal drug trafficking. But I want to ask you about another aspect of the open border policies, and that has to do with one of the least
Do they have
reported
ostriches?
tragedies and scandals associated with the Biden open border policies.
You know
And
what?
that has to do with the 500,000
fuck the current
children,
situation. Let's talk
sometimes
about
called
a year
unaccompanied
ago.
children, UACs. 500,000 children
No!
that the Biden administration allowed.
No, no, I am not. No, 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 no. You don't get to lie. You stop compounding lies on fucking lies. You stop. There wasn't even ever 300,000 children missing by the Biden administration. We went through those numbers. Oh, I don't know what this world is because everybody's just letting all the lying happen and it just keeps happening. And then you've got people that are, I just can't stand this world anymore. I can't.
allowed to be placed with sponsors in
Oh
this
my
country
God.
that were largely unvetted
Really?
and subjecting
Really?
them to who
Where's
knows
the
what.
data?
And then
Where's the
abandoning
data?
them
This is so
by
untrue.
taking the position that it's not the federal government's responsibility, it's local child protective agencies that have to follow
this
up on these
place.
kids. So they couldn't tell you whether they were being trafficked, recruited into gangs, whether they were going to school, whether they were getting the health care that they need.
Well, I hope
They
you fired
couldn't
every
tell you
single one of those
because
Border
they
Patrol
didn't
people then.
care. So I know that President Trump's administration, the
You fire
Department
'em
of
all?
Justice in particular, has located 22,000 of these 500,000
Oh, stop it.
children.
There's not
Could you
500,000.
talk to
I
us a
can't
little bit
stand
about
this
your efforts to
anymore.
rescue
Why are they
these
lying?
children that had been abandoned by the Biden administration?
I don't have coffee yet. I need to go make it.
Yes, and Senator, thank you for asking that question. President Trump cares deeply about our children of this country and children from around the world.
Why do you rape a child
This
then?
is
Why does he rape
horrific,
children?
What has been happening in our country? Law enforcement has arrested
don't know.
approximately 458 sponsors. Now, what these sponsors are, they lie to ORR, many of them,
What's your data?
to have an unaccompanied
What is your
alien
data?
child.
You just don't
Some
go
of
like a
them
shopping
later
center to
exploit and
CBP
abuse
and go
these
buy a
children.
child.
They're not parents.
Oh
They're
my
not
fucking
guardians.
God.
They're coming into this country. They were coming into this country without any ramification across the Mexican border until Donald Trump became president
border.
again. And that's when it stopped. We are doing everything in our power to find and arrest these people who are exploiting these children and find these
See, there's
children
gotta be this-
throughout.
There's got to be this specter of the one big bad guy that's getting all the children, right? There's got to be this specter that there's a group of child traffickers out there. These people have never cared about child trafficking, okay? Ever. Because they've had chances almost every year to prove it by voting for the Trafficking in Persons Unit at the State Department, which funds actual stopping trafficking here in this country. And the Republicans never voted for it. So give me a break that you care about the children because you never did. Ever.
Our country. One of those cases,
Oh, I
we
love
charged
it.
a
Thank
Guatemalan
you.
national
I'll take
unlawfully
that digital
residing in
hug.
Cleveland with lying to government because he became the sponsor of a young girl. And of
Oh,
course,
we've got a
we found
story.
he was
We've got
later
a single
sexually
story
abusing
now.
her.
Oh,
That's one of
course.
many cases.
Well,
Senator
where's your
Cornyn,
data?
that I can talk about?
Show
And
me your
Donald
data.
Trump will not rest until all of these sponsors are found and these children are found and protected.
Well, get on it. I don't know. What do you need us
Senator
for?
Klobuchar, you're recognized.
Oh, I
Thank
hate
you.
this place.
Attorney General
Here we
Bondi.
go. Now it's going to be.
Good morning.
Thanks for
I'm
coming.
gonna
I
start
really
a
appreciate
different
you.
subject.
Good
Your hair
morning.
looks really
On
cute.
behalf of families in my state.
And I wanted to thank the FBI and the local justice officials in Minnesota, the U.S. Attorney's Office, for the work that they did catching the murder, in the horrific murder of my friend, Speaker Melissa Hortman, and her husband, and the shooting of Senator John Hoffman. Just last month, my state was again shaken to its core when a mass shooter
we do need to easily
attacked Annunciation Catholic Church in Minnesota, shooting through the stained glass windows, injuring
I don't know who
21
helps
people,
us or
including
who
18 kids, killing little Fletcher, little Harper, an 8 and a 10-year-old, murdering them when they're in mass praying, 12-year-olds protecting 8-year-olds. I know we've spoken about these tragedies, and we both agree that this kind of violence, whether in Minnesota or at a Mormon church in Michigan or the assassination of Charlie Kirk, has no place in our politics or in our democracy. In 2018, after the Parkland shooting, you were Attorney General, and there was a bill called the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act. And the bill banned bump stocks, enacted red flag laws, and raised the minimum age to purchase a firearm in Florida from 18 to 21. And you actually defended the law in court from a challenge from the NRA. And we know that I'm in favor of an assault weapon ban, period. I look at these bills and I think, does this hurt my Uncle Dick in the deer stand? We have a proud tradition of hunting in Minnesota. I don't think they do. But as I talked to Director Patel,
well, not unless he's using bump stocks.
Told me
get more deer.
in the chair you are sitting in right now, that assault weapon ban could prevent future attacks. I talked to him about better background checks, about red flag laws, and then that perhaps we could find common ground on what actually happened in Florida, which would be to at least change the minimum age for purchasing assault weapon, because we've got 18 to 20-year-olds commit gun homicides at over triple the rate of adults 21 years and over, even though that wouldn't helped in Annunciation Church because he was
exactly. Trauma porn from both
she
sides.
was a few years older. But as you know,
Klobuchar
the shooter
is
at
not
Parkland
my
was
favorite.
19 years old. And the shooters in Buffalo and Uvalde were both 18 years old. So given your efforts in Florida, do you agree that at least raising the age for purchasing assault weapons could reduce the number of these shootings?
Senator, first, that's pending litigation, and I can't discuss that
comment.
at all. The 21 is pending litigation. I cannot discuss
In
that.
Florida?
But if I could go back
I really
the
didn't know
21
this.
age is pending litigation. I can't discuss that. But Senator, back to what you said about what happened in Minnesota, there is no place for that. And I believe I spoke to you after that. Horrific, those murders. And I'm so sorry that happened. And all of my federal agencies were partnering with state agencies, working hand in hand in
she doesn't get
Minnesota.
mad at Klobuchar.
What I can tell you about the Second Amendment is this is the most pro-Second Amendment DOJ in American history, as you know.
Say.
But we want to keep guns, as you said, where they should be, in the hands of law-abiding American citizens, while keeping them out of the hands of criminals and gangs.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Since January 20th, the ATF and FBI have seized more than
you gave
30,000
these
Okay, all right.
I really
illegal
was,
guns.
Reclaim
have
your
10
time.
minutes.
30,000.
You have
Senator.
given
Reclaim
these
your
statistics, and
time.
I truly appreciate those statistics. But what I was just trying to get at was something where maybe we could find common ground on a bill that you actually
People
defended
wonder
in
of why
court in
I'm
a
the way
state,
I am.
which Director Patel seemed open to, and that was looking at could we at least raise the age to 21 of the purchase of an assault weapon federally, while states look at banning these weapons overall, given these little babies that this gun is used to kill. So we can talk about it later, but that was my question, and you don't want to answer it.
No, it's pending litigation, Senator.
Okay, but your views on this is not pending litigation. So I want to get to the independence of the Justice Department. At your nomination hearing, I specifically asked you to provide assurance to every member of this committee that the Justice Department will only follow the facts and the law, and the White House will play no role in the cases investigated or brought. You stated in response this was you, politics will not play a part in my decision.
except-
And you also said the Justice Department must be independent and must act independently. Do you believe that you have upheld that commitment?
I absolutely have
offended.
upheld that commitment, Senator. I pledged that I would end the weaponization also of the Justice Department, and that America would once
End
again
it?
have a one-tier
End it?
system of justice for
Really?
all. And that is what we are doing in this
I don't think
country.
so. Oh, I don't think
We
so.
saw this with
You're
the
taking
president
people- you're taking
directing
protesters
an
off the street in
investigation
Portland for no
prosecution of
reason.
Chris Krebs, the former head of cybersecurity, Lisa Cook, who is a current governor of the Federal Reserve, Director Comey. And the president, and I know you have said that you will not discuss discussions you've had with the president about Comey. Is that correct? That you won't testify here about that? Because I was going to ask you if you received advice, instruction, or request from anyone at the White House to direct the department to engage in any investigations, prosecutorial actions, including decisions not to investigate or prosecute anyone.
I'm not going to
Yeah, or just
discuss
look
any
nice.
conversations.
But then how about the Truth Social post on September 20th, 2025, in which the president said, "We can't delay any longer, Pam," using your name, "not bringing criminal charges, are killing our reputation," his words, "and credibility."
Oops.
And then
He said
goes
that?
on to tell you to prosecute a member of this committee, to prosecute the Attorney General of New York, and to prosecute James Comey. Do you consider that a directive to the Justice Department?
Senator Klobuchar, President Trump is the most transparent president in American history. And I don't think he said anything that he hasn't said for years.
Oh my God.
Okay, it has been reported
Oh,
that you
stop.
initially
Well,
pushed
but he
back
said this.
against requests by senior Trump
These are specific.
administration officials to push out or fire the acting U.S. Attorney in Virginia, Eric Siebert, who's a conservative Republican, who made the decision that the evidence was not there to prosecute Comey. What made you change your opinion?
I am not going to discuss personnel decisions.
Okay. Is it true that
Why are
the
you
career
here, then?
prosecutors in the Eastern District of Virginia found that
Yeah,
there was
she does need a
insufficient evidence to bring
fainting
criminal
couch.
charges against former
Yeah, did they
Director
not put
Comey?
her under oath?
I am not going to
Lee?
discuss pending cases because Comey was indicted in the Eastern District of Virginia by, I may point out, one of the most liberal grand juries in the country.
Okay, let's
What?
go on to
How do you know? Did you
other
ask him?
firings or terminations. Last week, the Justice Department fired at least 2 senior attorneys
I hate
in the
this
Eastern
part.
District of Virginia, including the office's national security chief, Michael Benary. It is reported that his firing came following criticism from a right-wing social media commentator who wrote, "One can only assume he was part of the internal resistance in the Comey indictment. In fact, he did not work on the Comey case. Instead, he was working on pursuing justice."
That's not. She's
for
going to be like,
service
I don't
members
have any.
killed
I don't have
in
any control over
Afghanistan.
commentators.
How does firing a 20-year national security prosecutor enhance public safety?
Senator Klobuchar, I'm not going to discuss
Virginia?
personnel decisions, but the personnel issue that I'm having right now is that all of my agents, all of my lawyers are working. My agents
stop.
are on the street working without a paycheck because
my
your party
God.
voted to shut down the federal government.
Shut up.
Unfortunately,
you.
the House isn't even back here. They're 18 days off the job to even meet with us to come up with a resolution that we would like to discuss with them about saving people's health care. Let's move on to the Antitrust Division. Did you authorize your chief of staff to overrule top officials in the Antitrust Division to settle the challenge to the Hewlett-Packard Enterprises Juniper Networks merger?
Senator Gail Slater runs my antitrust unit, and she is doing an excellent job on many, many cases. As you know, that is a pending case.
Okay.
In any merger, just to clarify, in any merger, Senator, there is a deal struck with our office and with the corporations involved.
Okay.
But then that also goes to a court to certify in any merger. In any merger, it's a multi-step process.
Okay, I
And
will
that
ask some
process
further
is still pending,
questions
Senator
about
Klobuchar.
antitrust. I just had one other thing. DOJ can now take the extraordinary step of
Time's
subpoenaing
expired.
journalists. Has the Justice Department issued any subpoenas to journalists under the updated guidance?
Time is expired.
Okay, I'll ask
You
those
may
on the record.
respond, Ms. Bondi.
You can respond, she said.
Let me flip to my random page here.
Senator, my office in April
He's reading
restored
ahead.
the Justice Department's longstanding norm on this issue. It was AG Garland who had deviated on the
Assistant
media
AG Abigail
investigations
Slater.
policy, allowing self-identified journalists using this self-serving status as a shield against being held accountable for endangering our nation's security.
What?
We have taken that policy back to the norm, and I can't comment on whether we have or have not, or do not have pending investigations.
Time is
Senator
expired.
Klobuchar.
Senator Lee, you're recognized.
Ooh, it's
Attorney General
Marcia.
Bondi, thank you for being here today, and thanks for your service.
Oh my God,
as
it's penis
Attorney
tip
General of the
head.
United
I
States.
don't
wanna
even
start
have to
by
open my eyes, I
thanking
can tell.
you for acknowledging
Yep,
a moment
there he
ago
is.
the importance of protecting the rights of the law-abiding.
Yeah,
In
blar,
a
blar,
country
blar.
where there are hundreds of millions of guns, one of the most alarming, not to mention unconstitutional things the government could do is to disarm the law-abiding. It would be unfair, it would be
Oh,
fatal
he's
to many,
gotta
it would be
talk about
contrary to our
guns.
constitutional
Guns.
system.
I got
I
my
appreciate you
guns.
standing up for that. I'm also grateful for you standing up for Gail Slater, the Assistant Attorney General over the Antitrust Division. I have full confidence in her, and I can tell you do as well.
I
More
don't.
broadly,
I don't. Because of you
Attorney
two,
General
I
Bondi,
don't.
through your
How about that?
leadership, you've returned the Department of Justice
that?
to its core mission. And its core mission, of course, involves
Core
protecting
mission
the
is
American
what?
people, upholding the law.
I don't feel
upholding the
protected. I feel
Constitution,
less safe than
and
ever.
making sure that justice in our
What about
system
me?
is applied even-handedly, fairly, consistently, as the law requires, without fear, favor, or political bias making those decisions. With you as Attorney General at the helm of this great department, the Department of Justice has strengthened its efforts to secure our borders against what has been an unprecedented influx of illegal immigration. It's disrupted
it 50
sophisticated
million?
networks of
50
criminals,
million?
including people who profit immensely
Oh,
and have
before
profited
coming to
over
the
last,
DOJ, Abigail served as
5
economic
years,
policy
roughly,
advisor to then Senator J.D. Vance.
from a massive human
Oh, yeah, I
trafficking and
trust
drug
her.
smuggling operation.
Jesus.
And it also just
Oh, my
demonstrated an unwavering commitment
Gosh.
to the safety of American citizens. Your work has sent a clear message to criminal organizations and to
Yeah, don't
criminally
take your
minded
boat
people
out
everywhere,
for a pleasure
foreign and
cruise in the
domestic. The rule
Caribbean.
of law in the United States will be enforced, and those who
Even the
prey
ones
on
we
the
don't
vulnerable
have will be
face
enforced.
especially swift and unpleasant consequences.
Yeah.
I'd also like to
Blow you
commend
up. We'll blow you up.
and FBI Director Kash Patel, Deputy Director Dan Bongino for your collaboration
does need
with
acting
state and
lessons.
local law enforcement in my home state of Utah in assisting with the prompt apprehension of the shooter in the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk just a few weeks ago at Utah Valley University.
Exactly, Jane.
Your leadership has helped reaffirm
She has
that
no
the
ability.
Department of Justice exists to preserve the rule of law, to protect the peace, the safety of the
It
American
is
people,
so
and
less
ensure that
safe now
our
than it was in
constitutional
January.
republic endures for many generations to come.
Think about it.
Now, due to
It
the
is
open
so
border
much
policies that
less
we
safe
had
now.
in the previous administration,
For everybody.
a number of
really.
individuals, a number that is
Some more than
unknown
others.
and unknowable, but that is estimated to be in the many millions, somewhat estimated at the low end, be in the 10 million range. Others say more like 15. Others say
my
it's more than
God.
that. But this unknown and unknowable
there is data.
number of individuals
And also those are
came
repeats.
across our border illegally. And an unknown number or percentage of those people are individuals who pose significant security risks,
And a
including
number
some
of
who are
those are
suspected
repeat
terrorists.
crossers.
They were all allowed to enter the United States without proper vetting, in
Those
many
aren't
cases
unique
without any
numbers.
vetting at all. What progress have you made so far, Attorney General Bondi, in solving some of those issues related to the illegal immigration of an estimated 10, 15 million, maybe more, over the last 4 years?
Senator Lee, we are working
Senator
hand in
Lee.
hand with Christy Nome, of course, the Director of Homeland Security. She has been doing an incredible job. All of our agencies are working in partnership with them at the direction of President Trump. He ran on the promise of making America safe and closing our borders, and that's what he did on day one. He has also declared many of these transnational gangs as terrorist organizations, which is exactly what they are. They have been coming into our country from Mexico, from Venezuela, from other countries. They have been setting up shop right in our country. They are narco-terrorists,
What?
and it is going
Where?
to stop, and it is stopping
Where?
under his watch. Our task forces are working hand in hand with Homeland Security. Director Patel, Deputy Director Bongino have been going non-stop to make America
Bingo bongo.
safe again. That's not just a slogan. That's protecting everyone in this room. That's what we're doing as a country. We don't care if you live in Chicago. We don't care if you live in Florida.
we don't.
We don't
We're
care if
gonna
you live
fuck
in
you
Utah.
up.
President Trump
We're
wants
coming for
everyone
you.
to be safe, including right here in Washington, D.C.
I
And
feel
that's
less
what
safe
he's
than I've
been
ever
doing.
felt.
Not only that, Senator Lee, the surge, I'm
I know,
sorry about
she's
my
a
voice.
terrible
The
actress.
surge of drugs in this country has
Surge?
been
Where's the date on that?
horrific
Really?
over the last 4 years. DEA
Oh.
have
So it's
seized
all Biden's fault.
4,500 kilos of fentanyl powder and 50
Powder?
million fentanyl pills.
Does it come in powder?
Which I said earlier
Does it
represents
come in powder?
370 million
No, but
deadly
she must have
doses
had
of
a rough
fentanyl.
night.
These transnational gangs, it's all about drugs and money.
She's a little
And they are
horse.
destroying our country. They are destroying our children. And a lot of this fentanyl, as we know, is made, the precursors in China. They're coming in our country through Mexico and now other
Mexico.
places. And under Donald Trump, it's going to stop because he has secured
Hey,
our
all right,
borders,
calm
Senator
down.
Lee.
Jesus.
We're very
First thing in the
grateful for
morning.
that effort.
I haven't
It's
had
interesting
coffee
to
yet.
note, moreover,
Is it? Okay.
that under the leadership of your predecessor,
that.
the Department of Justice, the FBI, and others
I guess that
who
makes sense. It would
routinely
come
appear
over as
before this
powder.
committee, when asked about
Lozenge
the
time.
human smuggling operation going on across our southern border, routinely denied that fentanyl was coming in significant quantities through the human trafficking operation. They stated never with any evidence, never with any ability to back it up, to prove this was the case, that these things were coming across the points of entry through vehicles, through trucks, and otherwise. We know that
What
not to
about
be
postal?
true, and
No?
we appreciate your work in exposing
Everything's
that.
going fine
Now,
at
in
the
recent
post
months,
office?
going along with this law enforcement effort, there's been a disturbing trend. It's a disturbing trend that seems to be on the increase in recent days and weeks. That is a rise of violence directed at federal law enforcement officers
Stop it!
engaged in immigration-related arrests,
Stop it!
including direct physical threats, organized riots outside of detention
We call 'em
facilities.
names.
Most tragically, of late, a fatal shooting targeting an ICE facility in Dallas.
There was
Then just
also
yesterday,
where
it was reported
where
that,
where two detainees were shot, and then there was a woman shot by an ICE agent in Chicago. Let's talk about the shootings, Senator.
a cartel member in Chicago put a bounty,
Face
that's right,
full
a
of fate.
bounty,
No.
out there offering $2,000 on information about any ICE officer
Oh, stop.
and $10,000 for those who kill an ICE
Who
officer.
did
now,
that?
keep in mind, this information is not for kicks and
2,000?
giggles.
Why is such a
It is
random?
not for a game of Trivial Pursuit. That information.
Why is it
which-
such a random number? Why is it $2,000? I mean, like, why not 2,500? Like something that would make more sense. So I'm gonna call bullshit right now because Mike doesn't have the details. Yeah, give me the proof. Mike doesn't have the details. So I'm gonna say you coming up with some random janky ass number, 2,000. Yeah, how does one claim that? Yeah, how does one claim that prize? What? Who's gonna? Hey, I did it. I did. I can't with these guys. They're such fucking crisis actors. They're
cartel member
everything
would
they
pay $2,000.
claim that we
He's there
are. It's so weird.
that others can kill an ICE officer and get $10,000. That's what that is. Can you discuss what protections are essential to ensuring the
Oh my
safety
God, they're
of
the ones
ICE
with the
officers
guns,
and their
bitch.
families, and why
They have the guns.
requirements to display personal
And they're
information
using them.
and prohibiting them from ever wearing any kind of covering would represent a totally unacceptable, indefensible risk to their public safety.
No.
Senator Lee,
What about our
federal
public
agents have
safety
been
as the
doxxed,
public?
and many of you know what that means. It has happened to you on both sides of the aisle. Our
Loa
federal
coin.
agents' lives have been threatened. We spoke with Apple and Google to get the ICE Block app taken down. That was reckless
No, it wasn't.
and criminal in that
No,
people were
I don't think so.
posting where ICE officers
Yeah, so that we could
live.
protest.
We worked
Called our
with
civic
both
duty.
Apple and Google to take
Called
that
our
down.
civic duty.
Threatening
It's
the
stunning, I
lives.
would add here, that it took as much work as it did by
Can't
you
believe this.
to get them to take that down. Remember, in the days following January 6th, they took down all kinds of things, including a social media app called Parler, based on very thin evidence that was
Wait a minute,
largely
wait a minute,
rebutted,
wait a
suggesting
minute.
that people had been manipulating Parler in order to plan the January 6th
Yeah,
attack.
they have.
That wasn't true, and they
Oh,
took
it
it
was
down.
true.
I'm glad they have taken this Block ICE app down, but it's a shame that it took as long as it did and as much work on
There'll
your
be
part
another one,
to
don't
get them
worry.
to take it down.
I will tell you they were cooperative, and to correct myself, it was where they were going, the jobs they were doing. And that's what's been happening because hundreds of organized rioters, Senator Lee,
Whoa.
are showing up where our ICE officers are. And
No.
as you know, they have
Not enough.
fireworks, they
I
have
need
gas
more.
masks. You know, they don't want our officers to be protected.
Oh,
from
no,
with
wait.
their identity,
We do a
yet they're
gas
wearing
mask
gas
because your
masks and wearing
officers shoot
goggles.
us.
And they're
So it's okay
ramming
for them
cars.
to be
slag.
safe. It's okay for
Fuck you,
Antifa to be
cunt.
safe. It's okay for those doing the bidding of international violent drug cartels to be safe. But heaven forbid,
Whoa, I have a new
our
boss.
ICE officers should
Do I have a new boss?
Thank you, Senator Lee.
Time has expired. Senator Coons, you're recognized.
Oh, God. Here's another semi-Republican.
Thank you, Senator Blackburn, and thank you to the committee for holding this oversight hearing. And Attorney General Bondi, thank you for your service.
Fuck
and for
off,
being with us.
Chris.
I want to start with an area where I think we have a lot to agree on. In May, your Bureau of Prisons issued a directive to expand the availability of home confinement. The directive said it was rooted in the principle of smart, fair criminal justice
Hi,
reform
Croc.
and explained that smart reform and public safety can go hand in hand, and that second chances are not just possible, they're necessary for a justice system worthy of the American people. There's more to do to implement this directive, but I appreciated the BOP's recognition of these principles. Could you briefly speak further about the work BOP Director Marshall and Deputy Director Smith, himself a former inmate, are doing with regard to reform and what opportunities you see for us to do more?
Thank you, Senator Coons. And you have been a champion of that, and we believe in second chances. As a career prosecutor, I know that most people, even violent criminals, are going to be locked up and then they're going to be released. And that's why we need everyone to
What?
be a productive
What
member of
happened?
society.
What is she saying?
I believe in halfway houses, and that's part of what the First Step Act did. It gives people a second chance at life, and that's what Billy Marshall and Josh Smith have been doing, working hand in hand at the Bureau of Prisons. I talk to them constantly, and they are working so
Constantly?
hard. In fact, they inherited a dysfunctional
weird.
and neglected agency, and they are taking, despite more than $450 million being appropriated between 2019 and 2024, we found that funds had been diverted away from the Department of the Prisons, the Bureau
Right.
of Prisons.
Okay.
And so they are doing everything
Where'd it go?
to create more halfway houses
Where'd it go? Wait,
and to give inmates
Wait.
everything they need.
where'd the funding go? Well, wait, you can't just say they what? Diverted it to what? What the fuck? This doesn't even make any sense.
need to be successful upon release, but also by keeping America safe. And I just learned from Billy Marshall, we just made an
Billy.
incredible
Who
case.
the fuck's name
that
is
someone,
Billy
I
as a
believe the
grown
case was in
person?
Texas, one of our federal prisons.
In supplication.
No one was monitoring this.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was someone who was caught with a drone dropping off recently cell phones,
Yep.
paraphernalia,
let me follow up on that
Thank
point,
God.
if I might,
Many,
Attorney
many
General.
things that could cause
Many,
violence
many
within our
things.
prisons and allow criminal cartel networks to function within our federal prisons.
Wait.
And that's what a lot of this money is going for, to make our prisons safe within and so these criminals cannot function while they are in prison. But one good thing I can also add is we have given inmates, I think we've over doubled the amount of minutes they can have on their phones so they can talk to their family members, because we believe that is important.
One of the challenges federal probation officers face is massive caseloads.
Trying
And,
hard. He's trying hard.
I am about to introduce, hopefully reintroduce soon, a bill with Senator Lee that would improve our federal supervised release system.
The fact that you
by
can work with
focusing
Lee
resources
says
on those
everything.
who really need to be supervised, and providing incentives to reduce oversight of those who've really made progress and who've changed the direction of their lives. It is broadly supported by law enforcement and a variety of policy groups, and I'd love to work with you on that, Madam
I
Attorney
know,
General.
Tom. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and Senator, can I just add, because I just got the numbers.
morning.
So what we have is $8.7 billion for the Bureau of Prisons. And what that does is it adds 587 correctional officers to help with the things that we just discussed. $95 million for new hires. We have to recruit and we have to retain.
An
we know that's a
insurrectionist.
really tough job
Go
to
figure.
be a corrections officer. And that's why Josh Smith
figure.
is such a valuable part of that team with Billy Marshall.
Well, why
And
don't you marry
I would
him?
welcome working with you on that. And President Trump is the one who signed the First Step Act because he believes in second chances. We all do. Thank you, Senator Coons, for that question.
One of the things I have been concerned, even upset about, is how
really?
early in this
Even upset?
administration, at the behest of Doge, the department cut hundreds of grants totaling hundreds of millions of dollars, many of which serve
Waste,
critical
fraud, and
public
abuse.
safety.
She's got an answer
supporting
for this,
victims,
Chris Coons.
assisting with
Come up with
reentry,
something she doesn't have an
violence
answer to.
prevention, including in my own home state.
Like a
This
fucking
was
layup.
literally defunding the police. And I have some concerns about how DOJ is putting at risk public safety by assigning thousands of agents and prosecutors away from drugs, firearms, corruption, violent crime to help ICE arrest people without criminal records. You've indicated a willingness to review any grant that a member of Congress has concerns about, and noted a number of them have been restored on appeal. And I appreciate that willingness to admit some misjudgments or mistakes in some of the many grants that were canceled. But can you assure us this process is going to be fixed going forward so better decisions are made at the start and not just after appeals? And can you assure us that we are not leaving doors wide open for crime and criminality in our communities and over-focusing on arrest and deportation of those without criminal records?
Yes, Senator, thank you for that question. And as I said earlier, we are reviewing all the grants, and I believe we have, I say, turned some back on
807 billion
for senators who have called. It doesn't matter what state you're from. If it's a law enforcement grant, if it's protecting victims, let us know and we will work with you. And I'm not sure if we have done
This is
any in your
hilarious.
state
Is
yet,
that really
but I would be
literally
happy to work
like-
with you on that? What I can tell you is 200.
What?
There have been.
That's
out
the
of
way you do it?
5,800
You cut everything and then
discretionary
people
grants
need
that
to
were
ask
reviewed,
for stuff
only
back?
376 around the country.
What?
7% were terminated. 225 of the grant recipients have appealed that termination. And so far, we've turned back on 18 of those. 17 appeals have been denied, and the rest are being actively reviewed. If any of you know of any of those that you believe should call me, should be turned back on, call me. We don't want to jeopardize
I will be
anything
calling
that's
you.
hurting. Please do.
This is so
Senator,
fucking
to go to
dumb.
what you said about the
Why
FBI
should he have to call
and my
you?
federal agencies.
Is
and
that
being
how we
pulled to work
legislate
on
now? By
immigration
favors?
cases. They're working hand
Oh
in
my
hand
God.
because we believe
Those grants
that,
were approved in the
we have
first
ICE
place.
officers out there, as we just discussed. I don't
know if any of you have actually sought federal grants. I'm sure there are some of you in this audience who have sought federal grants. You know exactly what happens during the federal grant process. It's actually horrific. There is so much data and documentation required to get a grant approved. Let me just really stress this. It is so difficult to actually get that grant approved in the first place. It goes through multiple layers of approval and review. It is a competitive process, so they only choose the few grants to fund from the government because it is competitive. So not everybody, in fact, most people don't succeed in their seeking of a federal grant. All right? So listen, this money was already vetted, already approved, already came with key performance indicators and benchmarks and other things that determined whether or not the program was successful or not. All of that was already baked in. So this fucking way that people are portraying the way grants can just be willy-nilly canceled is bullshit. Because those grants have already gone through the gauntlet. And they were the cream of the crop. Oh my God.
Want to repeat that, who are being harmed. We're going to work with them, and
Yeah,
I've
you
directed
don't.
all of
You-
my law
you more than
enforcement
likely
agencies
don't
to
get
work
approved,
with ICE
Meowing
to make
Star.
sure they're safe in Chicago, to make sure
That's
they're
how it
safe
works
in Memphis,
in the
to make
real
sure they're
world
safe
for
right here
3
in Washington,
decades.
D.C. But also at President Trump's direction, we are not stopping
Fuck.
the core function of what we're doing, and that is fighting violent crime. And I think Director Patel made that very clear with all of the arrests that our FBI
Chris,
have been
shut the
making on
fuck up,
violent
Chris
criminals.
Coons.
And you know, there's so much that we can't talk about here, but if any of you are on the Intel Committee, you know we are fighting terrorists around this country every single day. Our lawyers are shut down right now. They're not getting paid, but crime is not stopping. They are working around the clock to not only keep our country safe, Senator, but to keep our world safe. And they
Madam
will
Attorney
continue
General,
to
I
do
think
that.
all of us hate that there's a shutdown and its impact on the federal workforce, and are working to find a way out of this shutdown, but one that will also restore cuts to health care. We could spend a lot of time on that, but let's focus on, if I could, 2 more questions related to your service as the Attorney General. The government's asserting the authority to summarily kill people. It says our cartel members through military strikes against boats on the open ocean in the Caribbean. Congress has never authorized such a use of military force, and it's unclear to me how the administration has concluded that these strikes are legal. I'm concerned with what the limiting principle is, whether the government could summarily kill people. It just declares our cartel members, as well as unlawful combatants, inside the United States, or if they were American citizens. This isn't about defending cartels, and these aren't hypothetical questions. President Trump assembled military leaders and said they would be needed to fight the enemy from within and to train in cities in the United States that he describes as chaotic and violent. Due process is the cornerstone of our Constitution. I'm deeply concerned about the authority our president seems to be asserting to summarily kill people suspected of criminal activity outside the law. As the chief lawyer for our federal government, you have a unique responsibility to ensure maintenance of our constitutional standards. How did you conclude that these strikes on ships or boats in the open ocean are legal?
Senator Coons, I'm not going to discuss any legal advice that my department may or may not have given or issued at the direction of the president on this matter. Regarding Venezuela, what
That's
I can
not very
tell
transparent.
you is Maduro is a narco-terrorist, and we announced I announced $50 million reward for his capture to bring him to this country to face charges. He is currently under indictment in our country. Drugs coming from Venezuela are killing our children.
Are they?
At
I mean, I'm not saying
levels.
they're not, but
And
why
members
just
of this committee
Venezuela?
are
into
as
this
passionate
country.
as you at protecting our families and our communities from fentanyl, but we also need to protect our sailors on the high seas who are conducting freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea from just an abject violation of
also
international
payable in
norms and
Sinaloa
standards about
coin.
how we interdict ships on the high seas.
Where's Josh
We
the
can
nerd? Hi,
push back
Jim.
on fentanyl and drug trafficking. Many of my
Which
colleagues
nerd?
have done so
Which
as
Josh?
former U.S. attorneys or prosecutors or attorneys general. But we have to do it in a way that is in keeping with the core values of our Constitution. My colleagues have pressed you on a number of recent
That's
actions,
funny.
particularly in the Eastern District of Virginia. My colleague, Senator Klobuchar, did. And I just wanted to add my voice to those who have expressed real alarm at how in your confirmation hearing you said you would be leading a department that would look forward, yet public statements by President Trump urging you to go after and to indict and to prosecute specific named people seem to have led to dramatic and sudden action by the department. I am gravely concerned about what is no longer a hypothetical question, which you refused to answer in your confirmation hearing, but is a real question about when or if the president demands you prosecute individuals because he views them as opponents or enemies, what you will do and what your limiting standard is, because the recent episode around the indictment of James Comey left me very concerned about the direction of the department.
Oh, boy.
We're a minute and a half over, Senator Chairman. May I answer?
Yes.
I don't want
Senator
to.
Coons, as you have stated in the past, no one is above the law.
Oh,
And
well.
James Comey is a pending case right now. It's a pending indictment. He was indicted by one of the most liberal grand juries in the country.
How do you know that?
By our U.S. Attorney, Lindsay Halligan.
How is Eastern
here in
Virginia one of the most liberal in
And
the
it's a
country?
pending
I mean, I
case,
get
so
it.
I'm
There's
not gonna
probably a
discuss
lot
the
of
facts of a pending
whatever,
case.
but
you can understand the
Before-
alarm
I don't even
about
get it.
the circumstances of the indictment.
Shut up, Grassley.
Immediately following President Trump demanding that you take action to
Your
indict
time
and
is up.
prosecute that specific individual. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Before Hawley, I'd, without objection, introduce two documents into the record.
yeah.
First
You're
one
right,
is the
Meowing Star.
expanded
You're
scope
right.
of
Yep.
Arctic frost. The second document is
You
a
are
list
right.
of Republican groups and people that Arctic frost targeted, including Charlie Kirk's group, Turning Point USA. These documents show the political weaponization of the Biden administration against Republicans. Senator Hawley.
Thank you very much,
Oh,
Mr.
no,
Chairman.
it's Tom
Attorney
Cotton.
General Bondi,
Tom
good to see
Hawley,
you.
Josh
Welcome.
Cotton.
I've been listening closely in this hearing, and I've heard over and over from my Democrat colleagues concerns about targeting political enemies, and they've accused
I
you
gotta
of
make some
all manner
coffee.
of
I'll
things
be right
and the
back.
current president. I've also heard them said, and I just wrote it down because I wanted to be sure I heard it correctly. I've heard them say that Joe Biden never targeted his political enemies. Joe Biden never directed his attorney general to target his political opponents. Huh. That's interesting, because I could have sworn that yesterday we learned that the FBI tapped my phone. Let's look at it. We've got a list. Tapped my phone, tapped Lindsey Graham's phone, tapped Marsha Blackburn's phone, tapped 5 other phones of United States. Gee, it sure looks like targeting political opponents to me, and yet I haven't heard a word from that side of the dais about any concern whatsoever. We've got nothing but concerns today, but no concern at all for a Justice Department that is tapping the phones of sitting United States senators because who knows why. They don't like them. They're members of the opposition party. They're Republicans. They're conservatives. You've seen this document, Attorney General Bondi. What was going on here? Who ordered this? Who ordered the tapping of the phones of United States senators?
Senator Hawley, I cannot discuss the details of that right now for very good reason.
You're going to do a thorough investigation into this, I trust. Is that correct?
We will be looking at all aspects of this, and I have talked to Director Patel at length about
And
this.
you're going to figure out who was involved in this, who signed off on it, who knew about it. You're going to get to the bottom of all of it. Is it correct?
Yes, and I've spoken to Director Patel about it, and he is committed to doing this.
Well, I can tell you, we already know many of the details. We already know that this was ordered by the Special Prosecutor Jack Smith, who reported directly to the Attorney General of the United States, Merrick Garland. And we know that Jack Smith was on his witch hunt because he was directed to do so by the President of the United States, Joe Biden. Let's just remember. Let's take a walk down memory lane. April 2nd, 2022, the New York Times. Garland faces growing pressure. The Times says as recently as late last year, that would have been 2021, Mr. Biden confided to his inner circle he believed former President Trump was a threat to democracy and should be prosecuted. It goes on to say that Biden was frustrated with Garland and wanted him to take decisive action against Trump. Here's what we're talking about. Trump, of course, was a private citizen at the time. So he appoints his own hitman, Jack Smith, who goes after the president, former president, who goes after members of this body. You know, the thing about it, though, that really strikes me is that it didn't stop with members of the United States Senate. Did it, Attorney General Bondi? It didn't stop here at all. I mean, just as egregious, maybe more so than tapping the phones of U.S. senators, is this memo that I know you've seen before. Let's just look at it again. This is an FBI memo from the same time period, I might add, from the same time period, in which the Federal Bureau of Investigation attempts to recruit informants into Catholic parishes in this country. So here you have an administration that is activating the FBI against its political opponents and tapping the phones of United States senators. Can I just say that again for my colleagues, for the benefit of my colleagues on the other side of the dais? Tapping the phones of United States senators. This isn't hypothetical. This isn't maybe what will you do in the future. This isn't, oh, gee, can you imagine a situation? This happened. This happened. And this happened, the targeting of Catholics in this country because Joe Biden and his FBI didn't like Catholics who went to a certain kind of mass. I mean, good God in heaven, what is happening to this country?
The Lord's name
what
in
happened
vain?
under Joe Biden? Or then how about this, the infamous school board memo?
Oh my God.
Where Merrick Garland, at the direction of the White House, issued a memo activating the FBI's counterterrorism division against parents who attended school board meetings and had the temerity to ask what their kids were being taught. And some of those parents were treated like this. Let's just remember. Let's remember how parents were treated. Treated like this man. A parent at a school board meeting, I think in Virginia, who was drug out of the school board meeting. He's bloodied there. You can see it.
Well, I got one for you, too.
What was the response of Joe Biden's DOJ and FBI? It was to issue a memorandum saying that people like this ought to be investigated by the counter-terrorism
I don't think that was what
unit.
the memo said.
And unbelievably,
but, okay.
they were.
I don't
They were.
Actually, what?
Or how about this? Let's remember Mark
threats.
Houck and the pro-lifers who were prosecuted for what? For going to a clinic, an abortion clinic, and praying on a sidewalk outside an abortion clinic. This is Mark Houck
that's
and his
not
beautiful
exactly
family
what
at
it
Mass.
is.
This man, at the direction
How'd you get his
of
Christmas
Joe Biden's
card?
FBI,
Yeah,
this
a
man had an
devout
FBI
Catholic,
SWAT
like a pain in the
team
ass
come
Catholic.
to his door in the early morning hours with his beautiful children there, terrorizing them with weapons drawn.
Oh, stop.
He was then arrested and prosecuted.
For stealing fetuses.
Unfortunately, a jury acquitted him. This is what was happening under Joe Biden.
God.
United States
Stop.
senators spied
I don't
upon.
want to be here anymore.
Former presidents, the political opponents of the president at the time, targeted, prosecuted. Pro-lifers, targeted, prosecuted. Catholics, targeted, prosecuted. 92 conservative organizations put under surveillance, targeted for potential prosecution.
I mean, there was evidence.
Gee, I don't know. Would you call that an example of weaponization, Attorney General Bondi? Do you think that's a fair characterization?
No. Here she goes. Wait.
Senator Hawley, that is
Senator
the
Hawley.
ultimate weaponization.
That is.
And weaponization under Donald
Exactly.
Trump has ended. It has ended. Harmeet Dillon is running our civil rights unit, and she is doing an incredible job.
That's incredible right there.
No longer will
Oh my
parents
God.
be targeted. No longer will parents who care about whether their
Parents, you can do whatever you want.
children have to read a
We got you.
transgender book be targeted and told they cannot have any
Oh,
say.
is she
in
commenting
their
on an
child's
ongoing
education.
investigation? Good-
That has
good question.
ended under this administration. People can worship freely, whether they're Catholics
What?
at synagogues
Well,
or Muslims.
well,
Everyone
well,
can worship
Pammy,
freely.
until the guns
That
come
was the
out.
ultimate weaponization. They
Until
were
the guns
targeting
come out.
Catholics. No longer. They have been targeting so many American citizens throughout this country.
Chipmunk sit next
and
to me
Senator
while
Hawley,
eating
you have been a
their
champion of
orange
this,
juice.
and thank you for being a champion of that. But
cute.
under Donald Trump's watch, it has ended.
I
You know,
love
I
chipmunks.
think about some of the abuses of
Chipmunks
power
are
in this
cute.
country's history.
Chipmunks are better than squirrels.
There's been
Fight me.
sadly a lot of them by members of the executive branch over the years, whether it's Watergate, whether it's what J. Edgar Hoover did in his time at the FBI, spying on many public figures, RFK, MLK, JFK, you name it. And I just have to say, what we now know happened in the last 4
Somebody
years
read the
under this
JFK files.
administration surpasses all of that. It surpasses all of it. Not just for the interference in the legislative branch, not just for the blatant disregard for the separation of powers, not just for
You
the
should
blatant
issue
disregard
a
for the First
subpoena.
Amendment, but for the targeting of ordinary American citizens who can't afford lawyers, who can't afford to mount a defense, who when the FBI knocks at their door or comes with the SWAT team, they don't know what to do. It is absolutely a disgrace.
You mean like
It is a
everybody in
stain
the
on the history
country?
of this country. and on the conscience of this country what this administration did in the
Oh
last
my
4 years. So here's
God.
what I think needs to happen.
Josh
Madam Attorney General, I think we need a special
Cotton
prosecutor
has
to be
special
appointed whose sole
prosecutor.
responsibility will be to get to the bottom of what has happened in every instance that I have just named.
No.
I think we need to know exactly
No,
who
I think we
approved
need
the
to
wiretaps
look
on
forward.
United States senators.
What?
Who knew about it? What agents were involved at DOJ?
Was
or
your
the
phone
FBI?
tapped?
I think we need to know exactly who signed off on the Catholic memo, the spying memo.
The Catholic memo.
Who was involved?
I think you already
How
had.
far did
Okay,
it go?
I'm just
I
going to
think-
remind you all that we watched hearings on the Catholic memo, a number of hearings on the Catholic memo. The Catholic memo has gotten all of the scrutiny that it deserves and then some. Okay? Get over it. Yeah, I said it. Get the fuck over it.
I think we need to know exactly who authorized the prosecution of Mark Houck, who terrorized
that's what they are.
pro-lifers and tried to intimidate them. I think we need to know that, Mr. Chairman, this committee needs to do oversight hearings.
Why aren't they?
We
Do they
need to
do
have
a job?
thorough
Do they
hearings
ever
into
do
what
any
has
jobs?
happened
Because why wouldn't
these
they have
last
looked
4
into this
years
at the
and this
time?
abuse that has
I
now
don't get
just
it.
been uncovered? Because we have to ensure that it stops.
Oh my God!
As you just said,
there's not
Attorney
enough
General Bondi,
drugs in the world.
We have to ensure that it stops. This chapter in American
I need a
history needs to
vacation.
come to a close, never to be opened.
God, I
again.
hope you die, and then
The
I won't have
use
to
of
hear
the most
you anymore.
powerful law
Polly
enforcement bodies in the
Cotton.
world against ordinary citizens and political opponents must end once and for all.
Oh, somebody
and we have
clip
a chance
that.
to do it, and it needs to be done with a thorough investigation, full
Of
transparency.
this memo
and
from
those who
4 years ago.
violated laws need to be
Yeah,
prosecuted.
that's it.
I thank you for what you're doing, Attorney General Bondi. I hope that you will launch a thorough investigation. I hope you'll appoint a special prosecutor.
Yeah, the moon was supposed to
Mr.
be
Chairman,
really
I hope we'll
beautiful
hold
last night,
hearings.
right? I didn't
And
see
with
it.
that, I yield.
Yeah. Before I
God,
call
would
on
you
Blumenthal,
expire?
I want to, without objection, introduce.
I'm
into
sorry.
the
I'm
record
now in the
document
just
that
wishing death on
General
phase. I
Bondi
can't go.
to
I'm not anywhere
declassify.
else.
The document is array FBI analysis of Nellie Orr's false statements to Congress. Orr never suffered consequences
Who's
for
Nellie Orr?
advancing this phony Trump Russian narrative and
Oh my
attempting to
God.
cover up her involvement in the hoax with false statements. Yet time and again, the American justice system has been weaponized against President Trump and his
Oh my God.
associates. And I've already talked about Peter Navarro in regard
Anybody
to that.
die
The
yet?
DOJ's
Anybody
inaction
die yet?
on Nellie Orr's
Today.
criminal
We
referral,
just have a new.
despite the obvious incriminating
New.
evidence provided in the FBI's own analysis, undermines public trust of the rule of law,
Yeah, yeah.
thanks to Director Wray's utter failure.
You
Senator
guys
Blumenthal.
hired him.
Thanks, Ms. Chairman.
Yeah, he
Just
did
so
fail. He
the
didn't
American people
investigate the
understand,
planners of January
this issue
6th.
of
That's a failure.
weaponization of justice
that?
goes to the core of the integrity of our criminal justice system. And I think we can all agree that no individual, no group should be targeted simply because they are a political opponent or because the
Kinda
President of
funny.
the United States has some personal animosity toward them. You've just said that President Trump is the most transparent president in history. Tragically and chillingly, you may be right when it comes to criminal justice, because far from ending weaponization of justice, I would submit, Madam Attorney General,
I know I
that
can't stand it either, meowing
President
star. I
Trump
really can't.
has
I'm not
embodied
in a good place
and
with
we
it.
have a record. It is a public record of his express instructions that certain individuals be investigated. The Attorney General of New
Jesus
York,
saves,
Tish
but heathens
James,
get
my
more
colleague
interest. That's a good.
Adam Schiff, the former CISA director, Chris Krebs, the DHA.
Yeah, targeting the
former
ordinary
chief
is
of
hard.
staff,
Yeah.
Miles
Oh,
Taylor.
so they're doing a
There's
great
list.
job of it, though.
And he has been transparent. In fact, 5 days before the indictment of James Comey, he put this post up as instructions to you. He didn't mince words.
I got to go get the coffee.
He
Should be
was
done. I
very
don't know.
open and public that you should indict James Comey and others because they are guilty as hell. No more delay now. 5 days before you indicted, or a grand jury at your instructions indicted James Comey. I'd like to know from you what conversations you've had with President Trump about the indictment of James Comey.
Senator, I am not going to discuss any conversations I have or have not had with the President of the United
did you
States.
see that
You're
post?
an attorney, you have a law degree, and you know that I'm not going to do that. I also find it fascinating, because I'll keep fighting to ensure that law enforcement and the judicial process move forward without political interference. No one is above the law, not even the President. That's a quote from you, Senator Blumenthal, in 2017.
Well, let me ask you then, when you saw that
No
post,
one is above the law. That was your quote.
When you saw that post, did you talk to anybody in the White House?
I am not going to discuss any conversations I have, nor any investigations,
So
nor
you are unwilling
any
to tell
pending
this committee
cases.
about conversations with the White House
And if I
regarding
may
James
continue,
Comey's indictment.
and if I may
Let me show
continue,
you a picture.
James Comey was indicted by one of the most liberal grand juries in the United States.
The night before James Comey's indictment, you had dinner with the President of the United States. Pretty intimate group. Was
Actually, there
James
were a lot of
Comey
people there that
discussed-
night. That's a
was
great
James
picture.
Comey discussed at that dinner?
I love that picture. That's a great picture. And there were a lot of people there that night. I think the
Well-
entire cabinet was there.
Did you discuss James Comey with the President of the United States? He was sitting just to your left.
Well, 2 seats down, yes. 2 seats down. And I am not going to discuss any
I'm going to take
conversations
that
I've
as
had
a
or
yes,
not have with the
because
President
the
of the
American
United
public
States.
is entitled to know, Madam Attorney General.
The entire
whether
cabinet was
you
at that
took
dinner, too,
instructions from President Trump after he told you very directly to indict James Comey, which is weaponization of the Department of Justice.
Oh,
You know,
wait.
I want to agree with my colleague, Senator Hawley, that weaponization of our justice system must end. That's the reason that I proposed legislation, and I challenge him and my colleagues on the other side of the aisle to join me in legislation that would create a statutory right of action for people who are selectively or
Me too,
maliciously
Jane. I'm behind.
prosecuted for political reasons. It would codify your manual, the Department of Justice manual, on political prohibitions against political considerations in charging decisions, and prohibit the White House from intervening, President Trump and any other president from intervening in charging decisions. It would make
that sounds
reforms
so
to the grand
lovely.
jury process. You've just said this grand jury was liberal.
Whoa,
We should
off-topic
reform
White House
the
memo.
grand
Furloughed
jury
workers
process to
won't get
ensure
back
that the
pay.
government
That's a
is
first.
not abusing its power and authority, and it
Wow.
will require transparency and accountability reforms at DOJ so that you
Wait until they find out
and
that all
other
the money's
attorneys general
gone.
be held accountable
Wait till they find
for
out
these
all the
kinds of
money we've
decisions. Will
taken
you
in
join
is
me
gone.
in supporting that kind of reform?
They
Senator
might.
Blumenthal,
I
I
don't know.
find it so interesting that you didn't
Carrie,
bring
thank
any
you
of
for
this
the
up
gift
during
memberships.
President
I love
Biden's
you.
administration when he was doing everything to protect Hunter Biden, his son. And I think you just
Yeah,
saw what
his
Director
child.
Radcliffe just released.
You know, this is an effort to be
Information.
positive
If I can
and
finish answering the
constructive,
question, I'm not
Madam
going to
Attorney
yell
General.
over you.
No, it's his
I'm not going
turn.
to get in the gutter with you. But
Whoa!
information that the Biden administration told them not to investigate Hunter Biden's involvement with Ukraine.
No, they didn't.
And I'm not going to be lecturing to you about integrity
another topic,
by
and I'm hoping that
someone
you will review
who
these
lied about
legislative
being in the military just
and
to be
support
elected
them.
a senator.
What?
The merger between
Wow. Wow, she goes
Hewlett-Packard
deep right
Enterprises
away.
and Juniper Network was settled. You authorized the settlement. It was the subject of a lawsuit to block it.
Get into the gutter.
The settlement
Pepper.
produced virtually no concessions from Hewlett-Packard. It was a settlement that prompted criticism from the Antitrust Division. Did you authorize that settlement yourself.
Yeah, there was a special counsel for Hunter. Yeah.
As I stated earlier, Gail Slater is doing an incredible job.
Feels to me like the Democrats are the only ones who are
antitrust
truly
unit.
investigated.
And as I stated earlier, that is still a pending matter. As
Stop
you
getting
should
so
know with
mad.
the law degree,
Did you
Why
not
is she
that all
so
mergers-
mad?
If I can finish answering the question.
I'm going to,
If I
with
could
apologies,
finish.
Just
No,
interrupt
clutch your
you
pearls a
because
little
my
harder,
time is
you
limited.
No,
stupid
well,
cunt.
then don't ask me a question. So,
Let me just ask you,
as I said, you have a law degree. You know that not only are mergers agreed upon, but they have to go to a court of law to be approved. It's a multi-step process. And as I said earlier, that is still
I would ask her.
pending. And I have full faith.
I would ask her, I would go, why are you so angry? Why are you so mad? I mean, really, why are you so why all the energy around this? Is this a sore spot?
In Gail Slater.
And Ms. Slater reportedly objected to the
Gail
settlement.
Reportedly,
And,
did she?
Moreover,
Moreover,
two of her top officials
were
fired.
officials.
Roger Alford and
Yeah,
Bill
the
Stern.
outrage is
Did
great.
you authorize and direct those firings after they objected to the settlement?
I am not going to discuss personnel matters or pending litigation in my office.
Yeah, why aren't you just
me
accepting
ask
my
you about
obvious
another
and
merger.
blatant lies?
The
Her
merger
scalp is irritated
involving,
from over bleaching. I know it's performative
two
anger.
home
I get
healthcare
it.
agencies
I give up.
on favorable terms, likely to drive up costs for millions of America. The Transportation Department's rule to provide compensation to travelers impacted by airline-caused flight delays, which was canceled. The merger of Skydance and Paramount, after Paramount's ownership took a number of steps favorable to the president.
Come on.
These kinds of mergers belie the claims that President Trump himself has made, that this administration will stop big corporate mergers that ultimately benefit the owners of those corporations rather than consumers or ordinary, everyday Americans.
Senator,
and let me ask you.
No, you didn't get a question, bitch.
You just gave a
Well,
list
let me just finish.
of many mergers.
I have a
Can
question
you
for
talk
you.
to me
Can
about
she
the issue with these mergers?
She needs to stop.
I do have a question.
Who polices this?
In the merger
Turn her mic off.
that took place.
Which
that was
merger? You've
approved
listed many.
Involving American Express GBT.
I hate this
I
place.
understand that
I hate
Brian
all
Ballard,
these places.
longtime backer and head of the law firm where you worked, was instrumental in lobbying the Justice Department to drop that lawsuit. It was dismissed.
Permission to
so
treat
it's
the
not
witnesses
subject
hostile.
to a court review. What conversations did you have with Mr. Ballard?
Senator Blumenthal, I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You
you.
admitted you
I am
lied
not
to be
accusing you
elected
of
a U.S. senator.
impropriety.
You
I'm asking
lied.
you
Wow, she must have- he
How
must
dare
have
you?
really
I'm a
hit
career
something.
prosecutor.
With Mr.
Don't you
Ballard,
ever challenge my integrity. I have
apparently-
abided by every ethics standard. Do not question my ability to be fair and impartial as Attorney General. And anything
You'll answer that
my
question to
former
another of my
firm,
colleagues.
Ballard Partners.
Thank you.
That was pretty good, Blumenthal.
Lee has asked for the
Not great,
chair
but
to-
good.
Just wanted to note for the record, the Paramount merger that he referenced was not within the Department of Justice's ambit. That was at the FCC.
Okay.
Not the Department of Justice. Attorney
Great.
General Blondie would have had nothing to do with that. Thanks.
Okay, great.
And that was why I asked Senator Lee. He didn't know that. He was reading off a script.
Before I call on Senator Kennedy, it's kind of laughable about my Democrats friends expressing fear and concern at the Justice Department's recent attempts at holding parties responsible
Trump
for
University,
their
yeah. How about
actions.
that?
I can only ask, where have they been in the last few years? They had no problem watching the Biden administration and its White House use all of its might and power to attack Trump and associates And now even Republican senators
That's a
have
script.
been,
Now that's a
selected
script.
to have their telephone records made public.
Now that is a
or
script.
Not public, but, well,
Yeah,
I guess
did
they're
they?
public now. But Biden weaponized our institutions and didn't hear a peep from
That's
the
random.
other side. Now every investigation and prosecution under this administration, people are going to be held accountable for their actions. Senator Kennedy, or,
I want extra time, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
okay.
I mean, this is, enough is
well,
enough.
oh my
Cruz was
God.
next, but he wasn't here.
Senator Cruz was next.
Okay, Senator Cruz, are you?
What's
if you're
his
ready,
problem?
go ahead.
What's the matter with it? What's the matter?
Well, thank you, but I will welcome Senator Kennedy providing color commentary throughout my question.
I will be happy to. If we ever finish this hearing this year.
And I'll point out Senator Kennedy has
Wow.
a new book about testing negative for stupid, so I hope I test negative for stupid. I hope I meet the threshold of
You
of
do
book
meet
type.
it, and I talk in the book about the tattoo
Oh,
of the
he wrote it.
Backstreet Boys on your back.
Look, I can't help that you don't want to reach young people. I think young people are the future, damn it, and I'll do whatever steps
The
are needed.
Backstreet Boys?
That would be on Vice President Vance's playlist, I heard, that got
Okay.
hacked.
Oh my God.
General Bondi, welcome. I
Wait, what?
apologize for injecting.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what did she say? So, Pammy, if you don't know what just happened there, Pam was trying to, jostle with the boys a little bit. And you know what the one thing, the rule of comedy is? What is it, the rule of three? You kind of have those guys, lobbing things back and forth at each other. You don't have her come in with a fifth thing. Okay? when you come in with like some random and now JD Vance's playlist is going to be up for grabs, and having Backstreet Boys on your playlist, well, I don't know. I mean, what? I mean, I might have some Backstreet Boys on a playlist. I'm not going to say, but I'm also not like Vice President of the United States and trying to I don't know. Anyway, I just can't. I don't understand these people. They're the Backstreet grandparents.
To you in the middle of
I just don't understand.
Senator Kennedy's antics. We can't help him.
You guys are not funny.
Thank you for the job you're doing. You are doing a tremendous job keeping this country safe.
No, you're not.
And
I feel
our
less
families
safe than
are
I ever
safer
have. How about that?
because you were on that wall. Our families are safer because you are returning the Department of Justice to its
God.
core function, which
Yeah, I
is
know.
enforcing the law and
I
locking
want
up
to unpack
bad
why
guys.
he likes the Backstreet Boys.
We saw for 4 years under the Biden administration, we saw the Department of Justice politicized and weaponized.
We didn't. No,
and we
because
saw
guess
them
what?
refuse.
Guess what? We didn't see that because all of you are still in power. All of the insurrectionists. Hell, even the J6ers got off free. Okay? So no, it wasn't, you stupid fucking cuck. If it were weaponized, somebody's ass would be in jail. But as it stands, no one is.
To do their core function. More than 12 million illegal
Never
aliens
mind
flooded
the-
into this country.
Never mind.
And the Biden Justice Department seemed to think its job was letting murderers and gangbangers and rapists
What?
go. And the results
What?
in just a few months that you've been
Where'd
able
they
to
come
produce are tremendous. Arrests of violent criminals are up 125% since the Biden administration. Fentanyl trafficking prosecutions have risen
Fentanyl.
42%
Oh my God.
since fiscal year 2023.
Okay. Well, wait.
DOJ
so
has
that would
coordinated
include
with DHS to remove over
That would
220,000
include
criminal illegal
2020.
aliens this year alone.
that wouldn't include 2024.
Under your leadership as Attorney General, you have helped rescue
I'm very confused.
4,000 children from predators and
Prove
helped
it.
arrest
Prove it.
1,300 child predators and
Prove it.
285
Hi, gal.
human traffickers.
Except for Tina Peters. Oh yeah.
In my home state of
Ouch.
Texas,
Ouch.
Operation Soteria
Ouch.
Shield resulted in the rescue of 109 children. Thank you, Attorney General Bond.
How'd the floods do in
Texans
Texas?
are safer because you are serving. Americans are safer because you are serving.
No, that's not true.
You have a big task.
Hi,
cleaning
Teresa.
up the messes of
Yeah,
the Biden
deep cut.
DOJ. One of the most egregious failures of the Biden Justice Department was its refusal to protect
As in
judges
satire.
and Supreme Court justices. As you know, in May of 2022, an unknown individual leaked.
I'm just going to tell you that somebody blew up a judge's house this weekend because Stephen Miller and Harmeet Dillon both attacked that judge online and said that those judges, those rogue judges, should be stopped. So I'm going to tell you right now, this administration is putting targets on the backs of judges. Yeah.
To Politico.
Yeah.
The draft of the Supreme Court's decision
whatever.
in Dobbs versus Jackson.
Yeah,
Women's
Alito
Health
leaked
Organization.
that.
The opinion that finally overturned Roe versus Wade. That leak
Overturned? I thought you said you just didn't overturn it. You put it to the
was
states.
a theft of government property under 18
Wow, the story's
U.S.C.
changing.
Section 641, and it was an unauthorized disclosure of confidential information.
Oh, then you should
under
arrest
18
Alito or
USC
Ginny
Section
Thomas.
1905.
That's my other guess.
General Bondi, do you agree that leaking that opinion was a criminal act?
Senator, I can't discuss anything
Ooh.
regarding that matter.
Ooh.
That should answer your question.
Ooh. What? What? I want to go back.
You have a big task.
Sorry, I
cleaning
had to
up
go back.
the messes of the Biden DOJ.
Oh, God, I went back too far.
One of the most egregious
Okay, wait.
failures of the Biden Justice
go.
Department was its refusal to protect judges and Supreme Court justices.
Okay.
As you know, in May of 2022, an unknown individual leaked to Politico
Uh-huh.
the draft of the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization.
Okay.
The opinion that finally overturned Roe versus Wade.
Okay.
That leak was a crime.
Okay.
It was a theft of government property under 18 U.S.C. Section 641,
Okay.
and it was an unauthorized disclosure of confidential information under 18 U.S.C. Section 1905.
Okay.
General Bondi, do you agree that leaking that opinion was a criminal act?
Senator, I can't discuss anything regarding that matter. That should answer your question.
Wink, wink.
Well, I will say this. The leak occurred in 2022. So the 5-year statute of limitations has not expired. And I'm going to ask you, if it is not happening already, to direct the FBI to investigate and find the leaker. The leaker has not been exposed. The leaker has not been identified. And the FBI has far greater investigatory tools at its disposal.
I don't have a picture of Alito, unfortunately, because it would have been perfect to put a picture of Alito up right then.
When it comes to defending the rule of law, when it comes to the integrity of our court system, having partisan law clerks, and I believe in all likelihood it is a law clerk who leaked it, leaking opinions designed to try to pressure the court politically.
Well, it didn't work.
Is a gross subversion of the integrity of the court. And so I would ask you as Attorney General to
Alito
direct
was
the
Hobby
FBI
Lobby.
to
Oh,
use
okay.
every resource possible to investigate, to find
was
the
Roberts.
leaker, and when you identify the leaker, to prosecute the leaker for that.
I thought it was Ginny Thomas.
Thank you, Senator Cruz.
I thought it was Ginny Thomas.
All right, I want to turn.
So you're not going to
second,
answer it. Okay, great. Got it.
After that decision was leaked, I believe the leak was part of a broader effort to intimidate and to threaten and harass justices, and
But it didn't
trying
work.
to get them to change
Well, it didn't work.
their decision.
But it didn't work.
And we saw mobs assemble outside the homes of
You mean
multiple justices.
Mobs, I think there was like 4 or 5 people. And they
Do you
were, I
agree,
think they were peaceful,
General,
weren't they? In fact, they
that
were.
the mobs that came outside the homes of justices were there to intimidate the court.
They're there
and
to speak
try
their
influence
mind.
the
It's called
justice's
First
decision.
Amendment.
100%.
It's called First Amendment.
Well, as you know, federal law,
Sorry.
in particular 18 U.S.C. Section 1507,
All right, get
makes
all the
it a
people in that
crime
picture.
to picket or parade outside a judge's home, quote, with the intent of influencing that judge's decision.
What?
That statute is crystal clear. And I will point out, these protests happened in 2022.
My God.
So just like the leak, the 5-year statute of limitations has not expired on these protests. But
He wants you
unfortunately,
to
the Biden
arrest
Department of
protesters,
Justice
peaceful
didn't
protesters?
give a damn about prosecuting this statute because President Biden and Merrick Garland and the political hacks at DOJ disagreed with the Supreme Court's decision in Dobbs and were perfectly fine turning a blind eye to violent protesters threatening the justices and their children. You may recall I questioned Attorney General Garland about this statute, and he admitted under oath that not a single protester had been prosecuted. And he blamed the Marshal Service. He said the problem was the Marshals, quote, didn't make arrests.
Yeah, the leak was,
Well,
yeah, right.
Subsequent documents told a different story. Internal training materials obtained
they couldn't
reveals
rule
that the
against
Marshals
it
were
if the thing was
explicitly
leaked. Yeah.
instructed not to arrest protesters under Section 1507. So the reason there was no arrest is because a political decision was made that we like what the protesters are protesting for, and we, the Department of Justice, are not going to protect the safety of justices. We're going to allow them to be victims of an intimidation and threatening campaign. Just as I asked
You mean
with
like you
regard to
supported the
Dobbs
J6ers?
opinion, I would ask you to direct the FBI to review the footage of these protests, to review the evidence that exists in terms of who engaged in it, and will you commit that anyone who you can prove violated 18 U.S.C. Section 1507 will face consequences and face prosecution?
Senator, we currently
think we
have
should all go out in
63
front of
ongoing
judges' homes. No, I'm
investigations
just kidding.
involving judges and officials throughout
Mass civil
this country.
disobedience.
That scene that you're showing will not happen under my watch. It will not happen
Fuck
under
you,
Donald
cunt.
Trump's presidency. It doesn't matter
Makes
if
me
you're
more
a liberal judge
determined
or
to
a
do it.
conservative judge or justice. That will not happen.
Somebody's
Amen.
house just got blown
And
up.
that
Shit,
point that General
bitch.
Bondi made is very important. I would be equally outraged if you had nuts in front of the liberal justices. I'd say arrest them and throw them in jail. Violence is unacceptable, regardless of whether I agree or disagree with your politics.
Yeah.
And violence, particularly fueled by rhetoric by irresponsible politicians,
Like you.
violence can result.
No violence has been. Yeah, like, come on.
And tragically, it resulted in one deranged individual traveling from California to Maryland with the intention of murdering Justice Brett Kavanaugh. As you know well, this deranged individual was arrested outside the justice's house. He
Well,
was
then I
arrested
think people
with a
did a
kill
good
kit.
job.
He was arrested with a gun, with handcuffs, with duct tape, with zip ties, and with the intention of murdering Justice Kavanaugh, very possibly murdering Justice Kavanaugh's wife and 2 daughters, and
I don't
potentially
think
murdering
so.
2
He turned
other
himself
Supreme Court
in.
justices.
Yeah, he turned himself in.
As you know,
Are we done yet?
just this week, a left-wing Biden-appointed judge sentenced this attempted
guess that's
murderer,
where
this
the
attempted
evidence
assassin, to
led
just
him.
8 years. The Department of Justice asked for 30 years.
That's right.
And that judge downward departed by 22 years. Why? Because this left-wing judge said that the attempted murderer was transgender.
Wait, that was the reason?
And because he identifies as transgender, apparently it's okay to try to kill a Supreme Court justice.
Wait, what?
If your
Huh?
politics are sufficiently woke. Now, I know you have said the Department of Justice is
Wow,
going to
I would
appeal.
can't
and
wait
you
to read
absolutely
that
should.
opinion.
I called this week, I believe this judge should be impeached because the judge has demonstrated she is completely unfit to be a federal judge. And what is your view of the justice of this sentence of just 8 years for the attempted murder of a Supreme Court justice?
I was speaking with our prosecutor, Miss Mal, who did an incredible job on this case. She did an incredible job. And yet, this judge gave 8 years. And the judge also would not refer to the defendant by his biological name, referred to him by the pronouns, and was concerned about the treatment that this individual would get regarding a sex change while in prison, and we are appealing that sentence. I immediately said we are appealing that sentence.
Thank you.
But my prosecutors did an incredible job on that case.
Oh.
And the judge wanted to put him in a women's prison.
Before Senator.
Well, he's a
Not
woman.
going to happen.
She is a
Excuse me.
woman.
I'm sorry, Chairman.
She is a woman.
That's not going to happen.
I'm
in the
reading a
Bureau of
story about
Prisons
her
now.
now.
Before Senator Ronald, without objection, I'd like to introduce 3 FBI.
And she has a
1023
lifetime
forms
of
into the
supervised
record.
release.
The first
So-
1023 form I made public last
Yeah,
Congress.
names aren't
This is the one
biological.
that Director
You're right.
Patel said his predecessors did fully investigate. The second and third.
She's taken full responsibility for her
1023
actions.
forms
I'll link
relate
this.
to the first in that they reference potential Biden family criminal conduct.
God, the hate is
Senator
just so
Johnson
much.
and I made these 2 public, and we simply want to know whether the government has investigated what it found, and if not, why not? Senator Ronald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, FISA Section 702 will expire in 6 months. In response to my questions for the record, at your confirmation hearing, you said you did not have experience with FISA, but if confirmed, you would consult with experts at DOJ. Now, you've had that opportunity. Do you support adding additional safeguards for searching Americans' communications in the 702 database?
Senator, Section 702 is a vital source of foreign intelligence and instrumental in keeping Americans safe. We also take individuals' rights of their individual rights of all Americans very seriously. And many statutory reforms to FISA have incorporated.
And why are people
safeguards. They
arresting
have to
protesters who are
incorporate
just standing
safeguards
outside
to
the
protect
thing
our
in
civil
Portland?
liberties.
I don't get that.
The Department
How
of
can
Justice
they do that?
looks forward to
How
working
can they do that?
with you to discuss anything regarding 702.
What is wrong
I
with
believe
that?
my
Okay.
staff, and Senator, I also want to thank you for this hearing. Your staff met with my staff, and I greatly appreciate that.
Great.
Thank you. We're going to be working on 702, so I appreciate the openness to further amending 702. At your confirmation hearing, you assured me that it is the Department of Justice's decision to determine what cases will be prosecuted. Last month, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia was forced out. President Trump then posted the message behind me asking about prosecuting James Comey. You then appointed a new U.S. attorney who, within days, secured an indictment against
There's
James
the story
Comey.
about the woman's
That social
who
media
was-
post behind
who
me saying, "What
seems to
about
have taken all the
Comey?"
responsibility
was
for her
directed to
actions and-
Pam? Are you the Pam that the president was referring
Oh.
to?
No, there's another one.
I'm sure I was.
So it's very clear to me that when the president posts something like that, that he considers the DOJ to be his law firm and you his lawyer. And in fact, very shortly after the post to you, Comey gets indicted. Last
Crazy.
year, President Trump's new border czar, now border czar, Tom Homan, was videotaped taking a bag with $50,000 in cash from undercover FBI agents after suggesting he
That's a
could
great
help with
picture.
government contracts. Sounds like a bribe. 2 weeks ago, DOJ officials reportedly shut down the bribery investigation into Mr. Homan. Ms. Bondi, did you approve closing the Homan investigation, bribery investigation?
Let me listen to my
Senator
lawyers.
Hirono, as I stated earlier, the
How does she know what page she's going
Department
to?
of Justice and the FBI conducted a thorough review, and they found no credible evidence of any
What about the
wrongdoing.
videotape?
You were also on video outside the White House
Oh, my God.
protesting with a group called CASA, where Antifa members were. Does that mean you're a
What?
member of Antifa?
You know, I simply asked the question as to whether or not you approve the shutting down of the investigation, Mr. Homan. I have to assume that you did because the FBI it reports to you. But the American people would look at this situation where this person is taking a $50,000 in cash no less. And you testified today that a thorough investigation was done. Now, I have to assume, I conclude, that since no wrongdoing was determined,
Max.
that
And only the
in
first
answer
page
to
is printed.
Senator
No.
Whitehouse's question, he kept the money. He kept the money, and I hope that he put that on his tax returns as income. Next question. Over 1,200 rioters were convicted
I think he
of
would have
charges
already.
related to January 6th. President Trump has since pardoned nearly all of them. As if that weren't enough, last month there were reports that a lawyer for the January 6th rioters met with senior DOJ officials about setting up a compensation fund like the one that Congress set up after 9/11 to compensate these rioters. Ms. Bondi,
What?
is anyone at DOJ considering setting up a compensation fund for January 6th rioters?
Oh my God, this is
yes or no?
Senator, I have had no meetings or discussions about a fund.
So would
are you aware of
support
conversations about
such a fund? Would you okay such a fund?
Senator, you can send me the information on the fund, and I'd be happy to look at it.
No, but do you think that's a good idea?
Don't you think you should ask your
This is
staff?
what I'm getting at. Because just to actually set up a fund and to have people talking with your senior people at DOJ, political people, about creating a fund, and you won't let us know what you think about that, that's pretty unbelievable.
I can't.
On January 30th of this year, the Trump DOJ's Antitrust Division
she started that,
sued
though.
to block the merger of two
And the
tech companies.
RFK's good at that, too, with
Then,
you took pharma
well-connected
money.
lobbyists met with your political deputies who overruled
overturn
the
Citizens
career
United.
staff
We agree.
and approved the merger. So there's a settlement on that. And separately, DOJ sued Ticketmaster last year for monopolizing concert tickets and forcing consumers to pay outrageous fees.
Yes.
Ticketmaster has hired
Nice.
the
No worry,
same
meowing star. Just
lobbyists
let it go.
who
Let it happen.
met with senior DOJ political people
I like
regarding the merger of the two tech companies. So
Yeah, ask Pam
my
if she knows what
question is,
Antifa
Ms.
stands
Bondi, have lobbyists met with your political deputies about the Ticketmaster case?
Senator Hirono, as I stated earlier, I am not going to discuss anything that is ongoing.
We're not talking about
Gail
anything.
Slater runs the antitrust
She's fine.
I would
office,
say
and
that-
Gail
that-
Slater, if I can finish, Gail Slater is doing an incredible job.
You already said
running
that.
my antitrust unit.
It's highly likely, Ms. Bondi, that the same lobbyists who met with your people basically got rid of the antitrust case.
Senator, I don't think a lot of people
I
like
would
that
say
you were
that
out
they're probably
protesting with
meeting you
Antifa.
right now. Next question.
Yeah, that's true. The DOJ's records for Oppo
You have
research. That's a
fired
good
dozens
point.
of career prosecutors
Very good point.
because they worked on cases.
I think that's called
involving President
weaponization,
Trump
isn't it?
Or January 6 rioters. For example, one career federal prosecutor who secured over 100 convictions in Florida. He also spent time in D.C. prosecuting
man.
January 6 cases.
Fuck, man.
He received an outstanding review only 2 days before you signed a memo firing him.
What?
The memo cited no reason for his firing. Are you firing career
I mean, of course I'm
prosecutors
Antifa.
solely
Who's
because
not
they worked on
Antifa? That's
cases
what I
like
wanna
January
know.
6th that the president
Everyone should
doesn't
be
like?
Antifa.
Senator Hirono, I am not going
Yes
to
or
talk
no?
about personnel matters with you.
Well,
So
we all
gauche,
know
Meowing
that
Star.
hundreds
That-
of
I
career
noticed that too.
prosecutors have left the DOJ, and literally hundreds were told. And
Yeah,
you know,
Senator,
you've
are you
lost. The
familiar with the one
DOJ
that threw a
has
sandwich
lost-
at an
Excuse
ICE
me.
officer? Are you
Excuse
a
me.
Homeland Security
Here
officer?
is
Excuse
the
Are you
me.
familiar
reason.
with the one who
Excuse
went out
me.
on her lunch break and was
Ms. Bondi.
making obscene
Would
Excuse
gestures?
you
me.
say that DOJ losing these career prosecutors and the
Yeah, she is
thousands of
unflappable.
hours of experience they have prosecuting criminals, that is not a reassuring situation?
Senator, many
No.
employees
Keep
took
talking,
the fork
Marie.
in the road and resigned.
Marie?
DOJ is hiring committed prosecutors who will actually come into the office and work and not work remotely.
You had a
and prosecute
20-year
violent
veteran with
criminals
excellent
around the
reproof.
country
I mean,
and terrorists. And
When
I am
you-
very proud
you
of the
fire-
work all of our
Well,
prosecutors
I'm running out of
Until I
time,
fire
so I
them.
think you should stop with
Yeah,
your
just stop.
continuous interruptions, in my opinion. Mr. Chairman, I just want to close by saying that what was once the Department of Justice has
Yeah, that
become
is a
the
gorgeous
Department of
pin.
Revenge and Corruption. Rather than
is that
pursuing
what that
cases
is?
without fear or favor, this DOJ seeks to favor the president's friends and instill fear in his alleged enemies.
Is
If
she
you're a
being
friend
paid?
of
That's
the
what I want to know.
president,
Pam, are you taking a
this
salary?
corrupt DOJ will bend over backwards to help you, just like it dropped the bribery investigation of Tom Homan, like it's considering paying money to January 6th rioters, and like it has put antitrust enforcement decisions in the hands of well-connected lobbyists. But
Yeah,
if
but
you're
there's
on the wrong
more.
side of this president, you will face the wrath of DOJ, no matter what the facts, law, or justice support. James Comey is indicted days after the president's social media directive. Experienced career prosecutors
I
are
have to
fired
admire
just
their
because
tenacity
they
in
were
defending
assigned to
their
work on
obvious
January
lies,
6
though.
cases. Blue states
Although I don't
are sued to
admire
get
it,
highly
really.
sensitive private voter data.
Yeah, probably played in
whereas
Sinaloa
red states
coin.
are left alone.
Yeah.
The double standard is clear, and the American people are waking up to the corruption and favoritism and the lawlessness at the DOJ. Thank
Yep.
you, Mr. Chairman.
May I respond, Chairman?
No, you may not.
May I respond?
No.
The
No,
double
I'm
standard
sorry.
is crystal clear, Senator Hirono.
No.
Crystal clear. Because you didn't
I don't know what
complain
you're
for
saying.
4 years
What?
when President Trump was
What?
being targeted by Jack Smith,
What?
by the last Justice Department.
Excuse
but
me,
the
what?
American people spoke loud and clear
Pam,
when
I
they
can't hear you.
overwhelmingly elected him.
Pam,
The
I
two-tier
can't hear
system
you.
of justice is over.
Pam, I can't hear you. Oh, sorry. Oh my God, this guy is a joke.
General, welcome.
How embarrassed you should be, whoever voted this dork in.
Let's suppose that I'm appointed special counsel at the Department of Justice, and I go to the telecommunication companies, the phone companies. Let's single out.
Let's keep it
AT&T,
easy.
and I
Let's
say, "Look,
keep it
I know you're
simple."
busy, but I want to see a copy of the phone records of a sitting United States senator. They're not going to just give them to me, are they?
Well,
No,
they
Senator,
might.
Of course not.
They
In
might.
fact, they're probably going to ask me what planet I just parachuted in from, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
They're going to tell me to come back with a subpoena, aren't they?
It works.
Yes, Senator.
Okay. What do I have
Ew,
to show
are you
in that
kidding?
subpoena to get those
Jane,
phone records
ew.
of a sitting? Did I mention it was a sitting?
You have to make sure the
United
bell's
States senator?
solid. I
can't
don't really
remember.
know how notifications
What do I
work.
have to show
SB
to get
is- I'm glad you're
phone
here.
records of a sitting United States senator?
Because nobody
Yes,
likes
Senator,
me.
there were actually
and
8
I'm
sitting
not going to
United
succeed at
States
this
senators,
YouTube
and
thing.
you would have to have cause.
I'm sorry, what do I have to show? What do
You
I
would
have
have to have cause
I am
to get the
Good cause or
subpoena.
probable cause?
I am
Probable
fucked
cause.
when it comes to social media.
Probable cause, or if it's a subpoena, deuces take 'em, good cause, to show what?
You do not want to see his face.
You would need good
So-
cause for a subpoena ducis tecum, and what you would have to show is that you believed a crime had been committed, or there was a possibility of a crime, or that could lead to other crimes. We
By the
frequently
Yeah,
in criminal
that's true.
enterprises.
All is
subpoena
really,
a
you
cell
have to
phone.
make it
sitting
solid,
United States
the bell.
senator.
What are we doing?
Senator, they would
Oh,
have
wait,
to have
his lip
believed
is
you were part
quivering,
of a
though. That's
criminal
kinda cute.
conspiracy, is my understanding.
I like his lip quivering though.
Would a judge have to sign off
Let
on
me
it?
see if I can make this like. I think I can.
On the subpoena?
Yes, Senator. Well, for a subpoena ducis tecum, Jack Smith probably took it straight to the judge.
Now,
Probably?
the phone companies.
Wait, is that a fact? Is that a fact, Pam? Or are you just fucking shitting on Jack Smith? Who they're also trying to go after now, by the way. That's the next thing. Is they're going to indict him for something. That's where this is leading.
Particularly their general
Just
counsel,
so you
if
know.
they're worried about civil liability, even with a subpoena,
Even
to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator. Did I
Give us
mention it was
subpoenas.
a sitting United States senator?
Yes, Senator.
The general counsel for that phone company, let's say AT&T, They have the right to seek to quash that subpoena, don't they?
Oh, wait a minute. Was his phones taken? I don't get it. Who's the wiretap on? I just want to know.
And a smart general counsel for that phone company.
I can't
is
take
call
this
the
3D
sitting
chess
United
he's
States
playing with me.
senator and say, would you like to weigh in on this? Would you like me to quash the subpoena? We're talking
is this
about
like Adam
invading
Schiff or something?
someone's
I don't know. Who's this
privacy
about? Who is this about?
by a sitting United States senator.
What?
Could the general counsel for the phone company do that?
Well, Senator, if they believe that a crime could have been committed, they could not tip off the person who committed the crime. Again, I can't comment on details.
You just
of
did.
this
Yeah, I'm
particular
not asking,
case.
She just did. This is literally what they're doing. They're talking. Okay, so this cunt who's like, I can talk about ongoing investigation. Well, bitch, you just are. No, this is about, I think it's like Adam Schiff or something. Or maybe it isn't. Oh, is it about J6? Is it his phone? Hi, Val. Was it his phone? No, it was Hardee's. It was Hardee's. That was Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell got caught in the Hardee's parking lot. That's a great song. Mike Lindell got caught in the Hardee's parking lot. Okay, hold on. I'm going to make that. I'm going to make that. I don't know who this is about. I don't know if it's about Adam Schiff. I don't know who it's about. I imagine it is. I don't know.
I'm just asking you theoretically.
I've never seen you commit a crime, Senator
But
Kennedy.
let's suppose, okay, they
driveway of a
didn't
Hardee's.
want to tip off the sitting United States senator. But the phone company and the general counsel for the phone company, or companies, if there were more than one involved, could say, this is serious as an aneurysm. This is serious as 4 heart attacks and a stroke.
Oh my God,
This
from
is the
your mouth to
sitting
God's
United
ears.
States
Do it
Senator.
now, God. Take
So
him
general
now.
counsel
Take him
would
now.
likely advise
Take
the
Marsh out
CEO,
too. You
need to file a motion to quash. The telephone companies
this is what
could
it
have
is. Yeah.
contested those subpoenas, could
Oh,
they
they're
not?
going after Smith. Okay.
Hypothetically, yes, I can't talk
Yeah,
about
this
the
is
facts
serious
of
as a
this
stroke
particular
face.
We're talking hypothetical.
Senator, subpoenas are issued.
They're
all
talking
the
about
time
Jack
through
Smith.
Phone companies working with the general counsel.
But they can file
for
a motion to
cause.
quash.
What?
They could, yes.
Yeah.
In any case.
Targeted Republican
And
senators
if they
calls
should have
Fox News.
filed
Thank
a
you,
motion
gal.
to quash, and a reasonable person would have filed a motion to quash.
Come on,
Because
aneurysm.
this is a sitting United States senator. And they didn't file a motion to quash, they would incur civil liability, wouldn't they?
Dun, dun, dun.
Senator, typically phone companies follow a subpoena from a United
I
States
know they do, but they don't have to.
They could challenge it, Senator.
Yeah. And if they
oh,
don't challenge it,
Wait. So are we mad that the phone company complied? Is that what it is? What? Yeah, it's Arctic Frost is J6. Yeah.
they
I'll
better
say,
have
I'll
a
say, I'll say.
damn good reason. Right?
Civil liability for phone companies. Now.
Senator, I
What?
can't talk about the facts of this particular
This is just a
case.
hypothetical.
In
Look at her-
general,
look at her fucking shit-eating
Senator,
face.
Maybe they didn't recognize any
somebody
of the names
shove
of the 8
poop
sitting
in her
United States
face?
senators.
I think I'm going to start collecting my dog's poop.
That was a joke.
Just kidding. I won't. Yeah.
Or maybe they should have gone to Amazon and buy some testicles online.
Whoa, he's mad.
Instead of just saying, sure, I'll
Who's
just show you
mad?
the phone records of a
Who's
sitting
mad?
United
Oh, yeah.
States senator.
You know what? You know what I think? You're right. You know what? You're right. God damn it, Mr. Kennedy. Let me tell you, Mr. Kennedy. Let me tell you how right you are, bitch. That's right. Because it's amazing to me that the government would put pressure on a corporation to change its course and comply or not comply, as the case may be. It is amazing to me that, wait a minute, that happened this year. Oh my God, that's right. There's Skydance and there's, what's the other one? Oh yeah, there's all kinds actually. Damn it. There goes my frickin' argument. Get me my staffer who was sitting on my lap giving me this argument this morning. I'm going to fire her after I.
on the basis of an administrative subpoena. Now, do you have
Yeah,
do you
she would
have
like it.
copies
I'll do it anyway.
of the subpoena applications for
Yes,
these
Senator,
eight?
Senator, I can't discuss anything regarding
You
this
can't
case
even
with
tell me
you.
if you have copies.
I can't discuss any of this.
All right,
with
when are
you.
You
gonna-
already did, you stupid
General, when are you
fucking
gonna be able to
cunt.
discuss it.
I can't discuss whether there is or is not a pending investigation,
I understand,
Senator. This
but
was
let's
just
assume
brought to light
if
by
there is a
Director
pending
Patel.
investigation, I don't want this to get swept
So
under
she
the
just
rug.
talked about what it was.
Okay.
Okay.
Because I think you're going to get pushed back from all
Bitch,
quarters.
you're not going to get
I
it
think
swept under the rug.
telecommunication
Trust and
companies
believe.
Are going to be all over.
We're going to
you
have
like
to
a
hear
bad
about it for the
rash,
next fucking 3 weeks.
because they've got liability here
How about
for
Epstein?
just turning over these.
Has anybody
records.
asked about the Epstein files? We did miss a little bit
When
of
they
this.
knew what was going on? I think some FBI agents may have some liability here. I think a special counsel might have some liability here. If I were your special counsel,
Oh, well,
and
thank
you
God you don't
appointed
work in
me.
the Justice Department. That's all I have to say.
and I wanted to get the
I say
records of a
liability.
sitting United States senator, is that something you would expect me to tell you as Attorney General of the United States?
What?
They better have.
Yeah.
And
Do we know in this instance of the 8 sitting United States senators,
Okay.
if they
Damn it,
told
I'm so
Attorney
sorry I
General
was
Garland?
Senator, I just learned about this very recently.
I just
as
read
did
this.
Director Patel.
Someone told
and
me
we
this.
cannot discuss the details. I don't know many of the
Well,
details.
maybe we ought to get Attorney General Garland here. Do you know if the special counsel told FBI Director Wray?
Wait.
Is that something? Let me put it another way. If I were your special counsel and you were the director of the FBI, and I'm trying to get the phone records of a sitting United States senator, did I mention it was a sitting United States senator?
Oh.
Is that something
couple
that,
times.
that, that
Do you have
that you would expect
something
me to tell you
to-
as director of the FBI?
Be afraid of?
In general, I would believe the FBI would help
Yes,
execute the
that's right.
subpoenas.
We're going to watch the Nuremberg
Okay, I'm
2.0
gonna
is going to be
switch to another
fantastic, and I'm going to be
subject
on
in the-
24 hours
in
a
the-
day replaying it.
In the 12 minutes that I have left, since everybody else got to go over. I've got to ask you about this, General. Secretary Howard Lutnick
Nut liquor.
on October 1 gave an interview
Fuck yeah, I
to the New
did.
York Post
Fuck yeah, I
about
did.
Mr. Epstein. And he described Mr. Epstein as, quote, the greatest blackmailer ever, close quote. Have you reviewed
No, they're going
that
to try and laugh this off.
transcript of that
Get ready.
interview?
I have not reviewed the transcript, but I saw the clip of it.
Okay. It appears
It's under
that,
E for
that,
Epstein.
Secretary Lutnick was Mr. Epstein's next door neighbor.
Yes, he was.
In fact, their townhomes
Yeah.
shared a wall.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
And
They think this is gonna be
the
a win,
reporter that
Teresa.
was
I love
asking-
this.
Talking to Mr. Lutnick,
Yeah, Mr. Nutlicker.
she asked how other prominent men could have been associated with Epstein when Mr. Lutnick could immediately sense that he was a, quote, pervert.
Oh.
And then Secretary Lutnick said,
Oh.
or rather the reporter
didn't
said,
see
did
the
they
whole
see it and
interview.
ignore it? Do you remember that from the interview?
I do.
And Commerce Secretary Lutnick said, no, they participated.
What?
And then
Oh,
Commerce
Nutlicker,
Secretary
you're
Lutnick
going down,
goes on to
bitch.
say, quote, that's what his MO was. You know, get a massage,
My
get a
Nutlicker.
massage. And what happened in that massage room, I assume, was a video.
Oh.
This guy was the greatest blackmailer ever, blackmailed people. That's how he had money, end quote. Is that true?
Senator, as our July memo said, we did not uncover evidence. This case has gone through 3 administrations, as well as former U.S. Attorney Alex Acosta.
I know that, Pam. But
Oh, here it is.
have you interviewed Secretary Lutnick?
No, Senator.
Do you plan to?
If he wants to talk to the FBI or the FBI wants to talk to him, that is more than on.
Don't you think you ought to talk to him after this interview?
Oh,
Senator,
man, I have to
if,
make
if
this. I have
Howard
to get the
Lutnick wants to
background
speak
done.
to the FBI, and if Director Patel wants to speak to
Oh,
Howard
really?
Lutnick,
Oh, really?
absolutely.
Okay. Maybe we ought to get Mr. Lutnick in here, too.
Maybe
Mr.
we
Chairman.
should. Yes.
Senator,
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Queen. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Wait, I got to
Attorney General, I know there's been a lot of talk about grants. I hate to bring you through this again, but it's really important to my state. New Jersey is one of the top 4 donor states in America, which means our taxpayers.
Okay, listen. I understand. I think it is very critical that we continue to put the heat on this administration for cutting off the funding for millions of dollars, billions of dollars of programming across this country. That should have been a red line in and of itself. But unfortunately, that red line is also a million different red lines, including why was a woman shot by a DHS agent in Chicago? Why? I want to talk about all the illegal things that are happening. I know she's not DHS, but I want these senators to focus on the illegal things that this Department of Justice, go over the transcripts of the cases where the DOJ lawyers have said the stupidest things and been just torn apart by judges. Talk about the fact that, are they going to investigate Harmeet Dillon and Walmart Nosferatu, whatever, for inciting violence against the judge's home that just exploded in South Carolina after she ruled against the Trump administration. Literally, let's stop with this nonsense of, we'll just go through pro forma what we're supposed to talk about. You know what the answer is that she's going to give him? I can fucking tell you what the answer is. Okay? The answer she's going to give him is, Senator, if there's any particular grants that you would like to see reinstated, you can also come right to me. That's I just gave you the exchange that's about to happen. Epstein Miller. That's good. Epstein Miller. Epstein Ben Miller. Yeah, I like that. I'm frustrated. Like, we're not getting anywhere.
Americans,
it's getting worse out
Democrats,
here.
Independents, millions of people
send
more money down here than we get back in relative to all the other states in the nation except for 3 others. We've been talking a lot about different grants. I want to be very specific about Office of Justice Program grants. There were $35 million worth of grants that were approved in a bipartisan way in this committee, grants that invest in
it's
things
like, stop
that are really
going
vital
through
to
the
public safety
motions.
Of our community. I know
the grants are important.
we are
Don't
in a
get me
room full of
wrong.
people who wanna
I
see crime go
yelled
down.
louder than anyone.
Republicans and Democrats, law enforcement officers have spoken
This
to the
moment is
urgency of
really,
these
really fucking
programs
serious.
Which deal with school violence, which divert people into substance abuse and treatment, and supportive services, community violence intervention programs. Again, bipartisan programs that this committee really worked hard on.
Lay out the laws that
I've
this
heard what you
Department
said
of
to others
Justice
on
are
the committee. I
breaking.
heard
Don't
what
even
you
ask her
said,
any questions.
to Patty
Just
Murray in an
fucking read the
appropriations
headlines
committee,
of what the
members should reach out
DOJ
to
is
you
actually doing
if
or
they
not
want those
doing.
grants reinstated. I've written letters, but I am hoping that you and I can have a conversation. $35 million of frozen funding for public safety that the people of New Jersey, Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, really invested in those resources, those programs, and those nonprofits who were expecting those grants often made outlays and are now really in a lurch. Can we talk about those grants and the restoration of them, please?
Yeah, and Senator Booker, I had stated earlier that yes, we did terminate grants. We have an appeal process. We have turned some back on. We are appealing. We are looking
okay,
at some.
whatever.
Some we have
Yeah,
denied,
I know
some
it
are
is.
Still pending.
Oh my God.
I believe we have multiple
Not what I
appeals
mean.
pending with New Jersey, and I would be happy to sit down with you and look at those appeals. I believe one is with the city of New Jersey. I know there are multiple ones pending, but of course, I would be happy to sit down with you or any senator or any House member and look at grants that have been terminated. I've been doing that, and I would welcome that.
But I will be the first one you sit
I
down
hate
with.
being right.
Absolutely. I'd love to sit down with you on that. I'll look at those tomorrow, Senator Booker.
Thank you very much. I want to move
But
on.
we have been restoring.
Oh, not tomorrow. I
some
haven't done it
grants.
since
I
Some
understand,
have
but-
been denied, some have not.
At New Jersey, none have, and I really want to get to the bottom of that, and I'm hoping that we can reinstate some of those grants.
Oh my
The second thing I
God.
want to move
Acting
on
like
to
that's
is
a
that earlier
win.
this year,
You know?
the Department
Fuck.
of Justice charged Newark Mayor Ras Baraka after he sought access to Delaney Hall Detention Center to conduct oversight. The charges on their
How about
face,
that?
to many of us, especially in New Jersey, were clearly baseless. Many people say they're politically motivated. And then the judge, the federal judge, admonished the prosecutors for even bringing the case. This is the quote from the federal judge. Federal prosecutors serve a single paramount client, justice itself. Your role is not to secure convictions at all costs, nor to satisfy public clamor, nor to advance political agendas. The federal judge went on to call the charges embarrassing and a worrisome misstep. Mayor Baraka was arrested that day on the scene, and I know you understand this, to arrest a mayor of a major city on charges that were called by a federal judge embarrassing and a worrisome misstep is very concerning to me, and I think should be to the whole committee. A recently released video shows a federal agent telling fellow officers that the decision to arrest Baraka was, quote, per the Deputy Attorney General of the United States.
Oops.
And I'm assuming that person is Todd Blanche.
Ooh.
This is evidence to me that this decision wasn't made by people on the ground in the field, but by Maine Justice, that they were directing an arrest from D.C. on the scene. And it leads to the conclusion that this was a political decision, that the decision to arrest was not made by the people who were there on the spot. And I can assume that you can see how that's problematic to me. So I have questions not about the case, but really about how the decisions to arrest and charge Baraka and now MacIver, Congresswoman MacIver, were really made. Before this committee, I am saying that I'm going to submit these questions for the record, and I'm really hoping that we can understand.
See, this is what I want his questioning to be on.
How we're making decisions,
How
especially
are these
for
illegal
high-level
arrests happening?
officials in my state, the mayor of our largest city, the congressperson of that city, and I'm hoping that you can respond to those letters.
Oh, thank
on
you,
the record.
Lee, about the letter from Wyden to
Yeah, and
Lutnick.
Senator, that
Excellent.
matter is ongoing, and so I can't discuss it. As an attorney, you realize I can't.
If it were something
discuss
about
ongoing
Jack
matters.
Smith, I could
And
totally
I respect
discuss it,
that.
but I
guess
just
wanna
can't
know,
right now.
And we'll leave this for the questions
I
for the record
just
about,
can't.
about the decisions on how they're being made, not the case in itself. I want to move on. And again, I've heard your testimony so far. I know that there is data about violent crime in this city, but I'm really concerned about the application of Justice Department resources towards the challenges we have. You and I both know that about 11,000 Americans have been killed by a firearm just this year. The Department of Justice, according to the White House's own documents, as well as that of the conservative think tank Cato, have shown that there has been a significant movement of law enforcement resources away from many other issues and into immigration enforcement.
Yeah, I heard that,
And
Gal.
we're seeing that in
Not
that
entitled to
immigration
back
reform, a lot
pay.
of the people are not the violent criminals that we are really needing to rid our
They're trying to
streets
make
of.
it as painful as possible.
In total, according to the Cato Institute, you've reassigned 7,460 law enforcement away from their primary duties, investigating drug traffickers, prosecuting child pornography,
Create conditions for
targeting
Congress to
high-value
authorize those
white-collar
payments.
criminals.
Well, great. Let's get
And
Congress to
again,
authorize those
forcing them, this is
payments.
according to the Cato Institute, into low-level immigration enforcement. This includes, in terms of gun violence, 1,770
Oh, in office with
agents
Carney. Oh, that's
from
right.
the
Forgot
ATF
about that.
to this kind of immigration enforcement. The White House
Carney was
itself
here.
has said that they diverted 45% of all of agents in 25 FBI field offices to work on immigration full-time. As a person who worked very closely in my time as mayor with the New Jersey field office, that's really concerning given the other threats. But it doesn't end there. The DOJ has eliminated the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force, the independent component of the DOJ whose job it was to combat transnational organized crime, dissolved the Community Relations Service, which in New Jersey has been invaluable over 60 years, responding to communities experiencing conflict or violence.
Okay.
And something that people on both sides of the aisle of this committee have really invested in. You all have rescinded VOCA and VAWA grants.
Okay, I'm sorry. I want to listen to what the dumpy dump is saying, and so we're going to go to the Carney thing, and we'll come back to this. But sorry. Okay, hurry it up.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to have the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark
Why
Carney.
is it always so
who
fucking low?
I have made very popular. He's an extremely popular Prime Minister, and I'm very honored to do it because I liked him right from the beginning. I've liked him, and we've had a good relationship. We have some natural conflict, but we will probably work that out. But we've had a very strong relationship, and your hosting of the various countries that showed up, that was a beautiful job you did, and I appreciate it very much. We're going to be talking about trade. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things. We'll certainly be talking about Gaza. We're in very serious negotiations to, I guess you could say, depending on the way you count, 3,000 years. You could say 500 years. You
Here
could
we
say,
go.
but it's been raging for a
You'd
long
say
time.
nothing.
And I think there's a possibility that we could have peace in the Middle East. It's something even beyond the Gaza situation. We want a release of the hostages immediately.
I think they said they're going to release
et cetera.
everyone, right?
And so our team is over there now.
USMCA,
Another
2
team
bilateral
just left,
agreements
and,
instead of
other
trilateral.
countries, Literally
Oh,
every country in the world has supported the plan.
that's true. I
don't
get your
think
point,
there's
Lee.
anybody that hasn't, actually, not that I've seen. But there's a real chance that we could do something, so you may have some questions on that later. But in the meantime, we'll spend some time and we'll make some deals and we'll do some things that are good for both of our countries.
Sorry.
And Mark, it's an honor to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. If I may, you kindly hosted me and some of my colleagues a few months ago, and I said at the time, you are a transformative president. And
Oh, my
since
God.
then, the transformation in the economy, unprecedented commitments of NATO partners to defense spending, peace from India, Pakistan through to Azerbaijan, Armenia, disabling Iran as a force of terror, and now, and I'm running out of time, but this is in many respects the most important.
The
what
merger
you've created
of Canada
no,
and the
what
United
you
States.
have created.
I'm only kidding.
That wasn't where I was going. On this solemn day of commemoration of the horrific attacks of October 7th, for the first time in decades, hundreds of years, thousands of years, this prospect of peace that you've made possible. Canada stands foursquare behind those efforts, and we'll do whatever we can to support
Very
that.
nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mark, very much.
Yes,
Any
Lee.
questions?
Is there any, what would it take for you to drop or lower your tariffs on Canadian sectors, including aluminum and steel?
Well, we're going to be talking about that with the Prime Minister. We'll be talking about tariffs. We'll be talking about a lot of
Josh,
that,
good morning.
but,
He always
for
does
a
look
little
like
bit
he's
later
sitting on the toilet.
I want to just acknowledge our great ambassador. Is he doing a good job?
He's doing a good job.
Otherwise, I'll get him out of there so fast. No, you have a good
Mr. President, is it the White House's position that furloughed workers should be paid for their back pay?
I would say it depends on who we're talking about.
Oh,
I can
really?
tell you
So
this,
only
the
certain
Democrats
people?
have put a lot of people in great risk and jeopardy, but it really depends on who you're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way. Okay? Thank you.
Oh, my God.
Mr. President, in your opinion,
He's got hemorrhoids. He's got to sit up, I guess, or something. Whatever that is.
Well, it's a complicated agreement, more complicated maybe than any other agreement we have on trade, because, we have natural conflict. We also have mutual love. We have great love for each other. I love this. I love Canada and the people of
I
Canada.
love Canada.
And Mark feels the same way about
Their bacon,
here.
amazing.
The problem we have is that they want a car company and I want a car company, meaning the U.S. wants a car company. And they want steel and we want steel. And, so in other countries, they're very far away. And there's no problem. You can compete and you can do. We don't like to compete because we sort of hurt each other when we compete. And so we have a natural conflict. It's a natural business conflict. Nothing wrong with it. And I think we've come a long way over the last few months, actually, in terms of that relationship. So when it comes to trade, the United States was always giving everything. They gave everything to Canada. They would let car companies leave here and go to Canada.
Yeah, bye.
But that hurts the United States. And, other presidents didn't see that. They weren't business-oriented. They might have been good politicians.
Orientated,
in some
if you
cases, not in
will.
all cases. They were bad at both. But it's a very natural conflict, and it's something that we're working out.
Canada has offered a lot of compromise this summer. Are you willing today to
Québécois in the room.
Well, we've made compromise, and we've made some compromise even on steel. But, we have the same basic authority and the same basic, this could be also a little bit of a conflict with other countries all over the world on steel.
Yes,
because
when
we
he
want to make our own
dies.
steel.
Yes,
we don't
we'll
want to
find
bring
out all the
steel in
drugs.
for the most part. But we will bring it in, and we do bring it in. We continue to bring it in from Canada, but there is a tariff to pay. And I think that would be a normal thing to say. But we've come a long way. I think, Howard, we can truly say, do you want to
there
make
are
a
no
comment on
solely
that?
Canadian car companies. They're U.S. companies with Canadian manufacturing locations.
Conflict. Why do we make cars?
Hi,
in Canada?
Epstein's
Call
neighbor.
that out.
That's what his name's going
Address
to be.
that. So there are places we should work together. And there are places that we have
Hi,
national
Jeff's neighbor.
It's a tough situation because we want to make our cars here. At the same time, we want Canada to do well making cars.
50% tariff is
So,
killing the automotive industry.
We're working on formulas,
Ouch.
and I think we'll get there.
Canadians are refusing to go to the U.S. The numbers are down like 23%.
Well, then only 23% of Canadians are refusing to go to the U.S.
Don't want to go to the U.S. now. 50 for state talk because of the trade war, the tariffs.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Trade
Look, I
war.
understand that. And Americans
From the front
don't
lines
wanna
of the
buy
trade
cars that
war.
are made in Canada. I mean, we have the same conflict. So there isn't.
Wait, what?
It's something
It's natural.
that will get worked out.
It's natural.
There's
It'll be fine.
Still great love between the two countries, but American
I
people
think Canada
want
pretty
product
done
here.
with us.
They want to make it
actually.
here. Detroit was emptied out and moved to Canada, moved to Mexico, moved to other places.
Emptied
not
out?
just
Wow.
Canada.
That'll be news to
And,
Detroit.
now they're all moving back, they're moving back. We have, right now, I was just telling Mark, we have
The
17
Canuck.
trillion, but it's going to
I
be
drive a
really much
Canuck.
higher. That was as of a couple of months ago. We have over $17 trillion being invested now in
No,
the
we
United
don't.
States. As
No,
an
we don't.
example, Biden, he was the worst president we've ever had.
Okay,
but
great. Yeah.
They had less than 1 trillion in 4 years.
Okay.
We have more than 17 trillion in 8 months. 8 months. And I think that number is going to be $21, $22 trillion. There's never been anything like that in the history of the world for any country, not even close. If you did 1 trillion in a year, that's pretty good. We're going to do over 20. And it's coming in with AI. It's coming in with auto plants.
It's
we're
not.
building
We're
auto
not
plants,
doing
a lot
over
of auto
20.
plants in the U.S. It's
I
coming
mean,
in for a
there's
lot of
more,
reasons.
yeah.
It's
'Cause
coming
we're
in because
extorting.
of the fact, I think the November 5th election was a big factor, and I think the tariffs are a big factor.
Pepper's like,
And,
no one is
again,
moving
we
back.
want
There
Canada
is
to
no
do
17
great,
trillion. There
but,
isn't.
There's a point at which we also want the same business. We're competing for the same business. That's the problem. That's why I keep mentioning one way to solve that problem is a very easy way. But we're competing for the same business. He wants to make cars, we want to make cars, and we're in competition. And the advantage we have is we have this massive market. So it's it's quite an advantage.
God, stop. God, everybody's so fucking shrilly.
For a second, are you planning to invoke the Insurrection Act? And that would be, a very long-standing law that's been on the books.
Yeah, well, it's been invoked before, as you know.
As you know.
If you look at Chicago, Chicago's a great city where there's a lot of crime.
Tariffs is
And if the
$108
government
billion.
can't do the job, we'll do the job. It's all very simple. They probably had 50 murders in Chicago over the last 5, 6, 7 months. Many people were shot. And then the governor gets up and he says, well, we can handle it. They can't handle it. They don't know what they're doing. The mayor is grossly incompetent. He's at a 4% approval rating in Chicago. He's at a 4%, lowest approval rating, lower than even de Blasio had, which is hard to believe in New York. I thought de Blasio would always maintain that record, but the Chicago guy is even lower. So I think that we want safe cities. If you look at D.C., you would right now, Mark, you could go out, take your family out to dinner, you could walk right down the middle of the street. There is no crime in D.C. When I got here, this place was a raging hellhole where people would come from Canada, people would come from other places and end up getting shot. Nobody's being shot. The National Guard's been unbelievable. I mean, they are strong, tough guys. You know, we won something at the Supreme Court, which is a big deal, merit. Everything now in this country is merit-based. I didn't think I'd ever see it again. And we have our soldiers are merit-based too, and they're central casting. And they walk through that town, and I'll tell you what, this place is safe. It's beautiful. Now we're in Memphis, and the same thing's happening. You're getting the reports. The bad guys are saying, we don't want anything to do with this. And we're removing many people. In D.C., we took out 1,700 career criminals and sent them back to the countries from which they came, mostly led out by Biden and his people that had an open border policy. And, you know, Canada, you suffered because of that, too, because they'd come here and they'd go into Canada also. So we're like a buffer for that in terms of Canada suffered greatly by Biden and the open border, the policy of open border, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. And these people were, you know, if you got 5%, 2%, now you were getting a lot of bad people. And we now have a closed border. You've done well. Yep. We have a closed border, and it's a really closed border. In fact, for 4 months, I don't even know if this is possible, but the figures were released. 0 people were able to come into the United States from the southern border.
Half a person.
0. And as you know, we've taken a very hard stand on drugs.
Everybody comes in this office and sucks balls.
A lot of we call them the water drugs, the drugs that come in through water. They're not coming. There are no boats anymore. Frankly, there are no fishing boats. There's no boats out there, period, if you want to know the truth. We're saying, does anybody go fishing
People's
anymore?
lives upturned.
The fact is, we knocked out, probably saved at least 100,000 lives, American lives, Canadian lives, by taking out all those boats coming in. So it's, and now
all those
they don't
people
come in
who
that
we have
way.
no
And
idea
now
who they
they'll
really were.
come in other ways, and we're not going to allow that either. So we've done a great job on that. But on crime, Chicago's a great city, but you can't be a great city if you have murders and if you have a lot of problems, and they do. And they have an incompetent policy, just like they had open border policy, anybody could come in. They came in from prisons, they came in from mental institutions, drug dealers, they came in from all over the place.
Are there no workhouses?
We don't have that
Here we
anymore.
go.
This country is becoming we're a very strong country. Look, financially speaking, I would say that because of the tariffs, because of the election, because of the policy,
about
because of the
8.8
great big
trillion,
beautiful deal.
and
That's what
it's
I added
because
the word great because it really is.
Of
it's
the tariff talks.
It's the biggest bill ever passed.
Mama's
in the history of our
right.
country. We
I
don't
hate being
need another
right.
bill. It's the biggest tax cuts. I mean, when you think no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime for the people. But far beyond that, what it does is incentivizes auto plants and AI and all of the things that nobody's ever passed a bill like it. We don't need another bill. We don't need any more bills. I said, let's get it all at once. I was greatly helped by our Speaker, Mike Johnson, and by the Senate. I'll tell you what, John Thune's been, both of those guys have been incredible. And we got a bill passed that I said, let's see if we can get it all done. Because these Democrats are like insurrectionists, okay? They're so bad for our country. So their policy is so bad for our country. I said, let's see if we can get it all done in the and everybody said it's not doable.
8.8 trillion, including stuff that comes from
and we
Joe
got
Biden.
it all done. We don't need anything else. We got everything we want. And now, because of that, that's a big reason why the companies are coming in. You know, 1 year depreciation, 1 year write-off, 1 year expensing.
Yeah, why would people be scared to fish if they're only taking out this drug boat?
So they're coming in from all over the world.
Yeah, he laughed at the fishing boats joke.
A great country, you can't have crime. And
fucking idiot.
We don't have crime, but we have cities where there's tremendous crime.
No, we don't.
And Chicago's one of them. And if the governor can't straighten it out, we'll straighten it out. Thank you. A question for the president.
Mr. Prime Minister, I'd like to know how come the UK and the European Union have succeeded to sign deals and bring the tariffs down, and Canada still hasn't been able to do the same?
Yeah, because they're not located right next to each other. It makes it, in many cases, it's much better and easier. But
and if I may, let's be clear about the relationship as it stands right now. We are the second largest trading partner of the United States. We do a lot of trade going across the border where we're cooperating, first thing. Secondly, we are the largest foreign investor in the United States. $500 billion in the last 5 years alone.
boy.
Probably
I don't think I
$8
can read
trillion
dark
in the
stuff,
next 5 years if
be
we
honest.
get the agreement that we expect to get. Thirdly, there are areas, as the President just said, where conflict, maybe not so much conflict, we compete. There are areas where we compete, and it's in those areas where we have to come to an agreement that works. But there are more areas where we are stronger together, and that's what we're focused on. And we're going to get the right deal for America, right deal, obviously, from my perspective, for Canada.
Including one thing that, wait a minute, easy, wait. So one thing where we are working very closely is the Golden Dome. That's the protective mechanism, and you see how that works. It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
You know,
like,
Ronald Reagan
truly
wanted to have
unbelievable,
it,
because it doesn't
and
exist.
At that time, they didn't have the technology, even close to the technology. But
I didn't know
was
if he said
advanced.
$1 billion. $1 trillion?
And
$8
we'll
trillion?
be working together on a Golden Dome for the two countries, and it's something that I think is going to be very important, especially when you look at the world, you look at what's happening. We want to have that protection. It's really amazing. The technology is unbelievable.
Why do you say some federal workers should not get their back pay? Why do you say some?
Well, you're going to have to figure that out, okay? Ask the Democrats that question.
Go
ahead.
Mr. President, just to follow up there, I mean, the law says that when the government is reopened, that workers will receive their back pay. So are you going to define the law there, or what do you?
I follow the law, and what the law says is correct, and I follow the law.
Mr. President, will Canada be leaving empty-handed, or will will Mr. Carney be leaving Washington with a deal on tariffs?
I think they're going to be very happy.
This
we
is
have a
dumb.
lot of things that we're working on that people don't talk about. They talk
I don't
about
see anything on that $8 trillion investment.
Competitiveness. He's a very competitive person, and they talk about things that we don't necessarily agree on. But I think they're going to walk away very happy. I think so.
Signed, there's been a minimum tariff that countries have got. When USMCA gets renegotiated, do you want a minimum tariff on goods between?
Would you negotiate right here in front of us?
We're going to have tariffs between Canada and, they have them with us. I will say with our farmers, as you know, they went up to as much as 400%.
Oh my God, the dairy thing.
And even one at 401. We found one having to do with a very small product, but it was high. So we've always had tariffs between the two of us. And actually, Canada was charging us very high tariffs on our agricultural things, a lot of our agricultural product. And that's one of the things that we talk about for bringing that down. So, this is a mutual thing, but
they'll get Sinaloa
Look,
coin.
We're the king of being
pay.
screwed by tariffs, just so you understand. And I'm not talking about with Canada. I'm talking about with countries all over the world. When you look at Europe, when you look at China, when you look at all of the almost every country charged the U.S., we didn't charge them because we were led by stupid people in many cases. Stupid people. They took advantage of our country. They're not taking advantage of us anymore.
So now you guys,
look at
us,
European
we're
Union,
paying
all
the
my
price.
friends.
Woo!
I don't blame them. I blame our presidents. I blame our past presidents and business leaders. But we are the king of
every country protects their own agricultural markets.
For many, many years. We've been paying trillions and trillions of dollars.
What about the soybean? Ask them about the soybean farmers.
Nothing at all. As an example, prior to the deal with Europe, where they pay a lot of money, but they're happy and I'm happy. The deal was good. It's a fair deal, but it wasn't fair.
I don't think it's
you
done
couldn't
yet.
Put a car into Europe. You couldn't sell your agriculture into Europe. You couldn't do anything. And now
Because
we
they have
have it so
standards.
that it's open. We charge them tariffs. We didn't charge them tariffs a car. They charge us tremendous. I said to Angela Merkel once, I said, how many cars have gone to Germany from the United States? And she said, well, I don't believe any. And I said, you're right.
Really?
You're right.
Angela, let's get her on the
That doesn't happen
phone.
anymore. And they're paying a fair amount. It's just a fair amount. It's not, I could ask for much more. It's a fair amount. But the United States now is using the same thing that they've used on us. And I just can't believe it's taken presidents so long to do this. And again, we're going to treat people fairly.
It's just going to be a whole. We're really in for something. I mean, Lee says because global trade lifts all boats and gives poor countries an opportunity to compete. That's right. There are no deals on paper. It's all a figment of his imagination. Thank you, Lee. From the trade front lines, the tariff front lines, Lee coming in hot with the facts.
We're going to especially treat Canada fairly. But I can't believe it's taken so long where we get charged and don't
X5.
charge them. Japan was a good example. We made a deal with Japan. You saw that, Mark? A deal with Japan. It's a
So really,
much different
there
deal
are
than we've had in
American
the past.
cars.
But they would send
already
us millions of cars,
over
no
there.
charge.
American made.
We weren't allowed to send them cars. We sent them no cars. I doubt you had one car go into Japan because we were restricted. They didn't want our cars. Same thing with Europe, same thing with other places. So now
That's
all
called
we
free
do
market.
now is fairness. But fairness leads us to the most successful country there's ever been. You know, we have some advantages over other countries. And
I
we
don't know
do have
about
a
you,
great
but the
market.
prices of all
We
my
have an amazing
groceries
market.
are
But you know what?
getting
If I
higher.
let this go, if we didn't win this election, if we had these people that were running, that were ruining our country, destroying our country with their open borders and men playing in women's sports and transgender from everybody and windmills all over the place. If we allowed that to go on for another couple of years,
windmills
we would
are
be.
hurting.
I'm not sure that we'd even have a country.
Every time I
Yeah, Brian.
Brian.
I'm not sure we would have even had a country. And now we have the most successful country
We wouldn't
in the
even
world.
have a
Brian?
country.
Yes,
Well,
sir. What is your
probably.
message to Democrats ahead of a next vote to open up the government? The American people is saying, open the damn government. What's your
Really?
message to
Which
them?
American people
Well,
are
they're the
saying
ones
that?
that started it. They're the ones that have it. And it's almost like a kamikaze
Then
attack by them.
you have to
wanna know the truth?
negotiate.
This is like a kamikaze
No, you have to
attack.
negotiate. That's called
They-
negotiation.
They almost,
It's
you
called
know,
negotiation.
They have nothing to lose. They've lost the elections. They've lost the presidential election in a landslide. I saw the other day where Kamala said this was a very
Pivot.
close election.
Pivot.
This was one of
Pivot.
the biggest sweeps
Pivot.
that anybody's ever had. Won the popular vote by millions. Won the
Every county,
electoral
blah, blah,
college
blah.
by a
Yeah,
massive
okay.
amount. They said
electrical
if I got
college.
270, that would be great. But I got, I think, 312 or 315, and they got 220. So, you know, we won that. But we won counties. The big thing is counties.
Oh my God.
So
Okay.
out of all of the counties,
I'm just going to tell
thousands.
you. The big thing is not counties, all right? He won rural counties with less population, okay? That's how counties are. Some counties are more populated than other counties. So it doesn't matter if you win 90 or whatever percentage of the counties. It still doesn't necessarily equate to the same number of people that are in a smaller number of counties where there's more dense population.
And thousands. We got
It's math.
2,500. They got 525.
Right.
It was a
That's
landslide.
how it works.
And we listened. Oh, yes, it was close.
Yeah.
It was one of the greatest
Counties
victories
don't
ever.
vote.
And it was a mandate to do
Nope,
what we're
it
doing.
wasn't.
And I hope, and Mark wants this as much as I
He's
do.
a demented Midas. That's a good way of putting
We are very
it,
close
Pep.
to making a deal on the Middle East that will bring peace to the Middle East.
A
After all
syphilis
of these
Midas.
years of millions and millions, tens of millions of people being killed,
That's
there's
true.
a chance to bring peace to the Middle East. In addition to that, I made 7 other deals, and they're, you know,
I killed
great.
7
And
giants
we're,
in one
you know,
swoop.
things are happening with respect to Russia,
our little
Ukraine.
Taylor.
That's
He's the
one
little
that,
Taylor
last
president.
week, Mark, 7,812 people were killed. Soldiers, mostly soldiers. But 7,000, more than 7,000,
Oh, my
almost
God.
8,000 soldiers were killed.
Oh, it's
a
8,000
crazy-
now, you guys.
It's a crazy thing. I thought that would have been one of the easy ones. I get along very well with Putin, and I thought that would have
Not
been. I'm
so
very
well with
disappointed in
Zelensky.
him,
Bit of
because
a-
I thought this would
a
have
bit
been
of
an
a
easy
little
one
bit
to
of a
settle,
hooligan.
but it's turned out to be maybe tougher than the Middle East. We'll see what happens with the Middle East. The Middle East.
Wait, you guys. He wants to tell you that the Middle East is like fixed.
Go ahead, behind, yes.
Is the fentanyl crisis over with Canada, with the Canadian border?
Is what?
The fentanyl crisis.
No, it's not over. It's never. I think it's never.
It's
gonna
never
be
over?
frankly. But they've done. Canada's worked hard, and they've done a
Wait, it's
a
never-
much
it's
better
not
job
over?
than in the past. We have
7 deals.
very few people coming in through our southern border too.
Gazillion.
We've worked with Canada and we've worked with Mexico, so we've made it a lot better.
Look, 80 is
Well, wait.
I just, on fentanyl, any amount is too much. So we've gotten it down. It's down substantially. It's less than 1%, but it's, look, it's still too much. It's too much at home in Canada.
of people.
Yeah, we got to stamp it out.
On USMCA, are the two
Look
of you
at this
both
Brett
committed
Boyle,
to
everybody.
seeing it through in the renegotiation of that deal
His
that
ego
you made?
is he's
Well, we can
interested in creating
renegotiate it,
some
and
sort of
that would be
legacy.
good. Or we could just
Legacy? No,
do
he doesn't
different
want a
deals. We're
legacy,
allowed to
honey.
do
He wants to
different deals if
avoid
we
being
want.
in
We might
jail.
make deals that are better for the individual.
That's what he wants to avoid. He wants to avoid being in
I don't
jail,
care. I
Brett.
wanna
That's
make
all he
whatever
wants.
The best deal is for this country.
Everybody,
and also very
Canadian
much
freedom
for Canada.
fighter Brett Boyle.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead, sir.
Sir, on China,
He doesn't want a legacy. He wants to stay his ass out of prison.
to counter China.
Well, you have to be able to compete. They're a great competitor. And Mark and I both know that. And you have to be able to compete. We have big advantages over China for lots of different reasons. And I think we're doing very well with China. I
yes,
get along
he is a
very well
narcissist-
with President Xi. I'm going to be
narcissistic
meeting him in a few
Zion-Nazi
weeks, as you know.
puppet.
I'll be meeting him in South Korea.
Good morning, Brett.
But we've had a very good relationship for a long time. But you have to be able to compete. To do well with China, if
Yeah.
you can't compete, you're not going to do well with China. And Canada is very competitive. I can tell you
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
Canada's
Now
a
he doesn't
very
believe he's
competitive
mortal.
country,
That's
and
true.
I think Canada's done very well over the years with China.
Yeah, we have. But we'll do better together.
He is sitting on a toilet.
On Golden Dome, Middle East, what guarantees are you giving your Arab partners that Israel will not resume its offensive after the hostages are released?
Well,
Israel
the
will not
primary
bomb
guarantee is
Qatar.
once this deal happens, if it does happen, look, they're in negotiations
I
right
know,
now.
you have.
We are gonna
That's
do
true,
everything
Brett. You've
possible.
been
We have
free
a lot of
Palestine
power,
for
and
more
we're
than a
going to do
minute.
everything possible to make sure everybody adheres to the deal. Okay?
I'm not ready to, you know.
How do you see the shutdown?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's they're all Democrat delays. There are delays at the airport. That's standard. And
What?
again, this
whoa,
is something
whoa,
that
whoa, whoa, whoa. They're Democrat delays because the FAA is mismanaged? Because you have a real world contestant running the FAA? Stop crashing planes, Sean.
every
must
day
have
we
to
put
steam
forth
clean
the
it,
bill.
Josh. They must.
Just a continuation. It's a very simple thing to sign and very simple to do. And I really think that these are people that I think they have nothing to lose. They have a party that's out of control. They have no leader. Nobody knows who the leader is. I look at people with very low IQs like Crockett, this woman Crockett. I never met her, but she's a low IQ individual.
But you seem really bothered by her.
I look at AOC talking about how if they want to negotiate, they can come to my office. She's not in that position to do that.
Oh,
And
you don't hold
who
the
hell is
cards.
she to say that?
She isn't
And then I
holding
watch
cards.
Nancy Pelosi not knowing what to do. I watch their leadership. Look, Schumer is
Nancy
petrified
Pelosi?
of
Is she still alive?
because he's not going to win probably against anybody in a primary. You know,
Well,
Schumer
let's
did
hope.
the right thing.
Let's hope he doesn't.
But he handled it badly.
Can't stand Schumer.
Originally, a year ago.
All right,
he
see
did
ya.
probably the right thing.
Thank you for
but
hitting
he
the
handled
like,
it badly.
Brett.
I think Schumer's incapable of making a deal. They are a mess. They're a party that has no leadership. They have, and they have no policy. You know,
Well-
we have great. I think we have great leadership.
I think we
but
have
we
great
also have great
policy.
We have strong borders. We have
Oh,
no
the
men
land
and
that
women
voted for it.
sports. I mean, basic things. We're not. We're
The
not
Stoke
going to
Club.
take your child away and change the sex of your child.
Who's
We're
doing
not
that?
gonna do things like that.
Like literally
what they're
no
doing
one.
to the country is so incredible, and they got away with it with all their woke crap, and now it's stopped. And we have a country that's based on common sense and strength.
This country is less
and,
safe than it was
intelligence.
yesterday.
I mean, we have the United States of
Period.
America, and I say it all the time.
I
Other
do,
leaders
too.
have
I
told
can't
me
stand
this. Mark
Schumer.
hasn't yet, but I think he would. A year ago, we were a dead country, and now we are the hottest
alive.
country anywhere in the world. Maybe Canada. I'll give Canada, because I do like Canada. But you know, we're the hottest
But
country in the
basically,
world
if
right
anybody
now.
else
There's
was
never been
sitting
a
there, I'd
country
say
that
their
has
country,
the
too.
kind of money coming into. There's never been anything like this. There has never been a country that if you take $1 trillion, that would be unbelievable. We're going to have over $20 trillion invested in this country.
Okay, that's a lie. You're not gonna have 20 trillion. This is the same number that he's talking about as 17 trillion, which is actually, according to their own website on the White House website, okay, it's 8.8 trillion, which is a lot. But you know why it's a lot? The article that I showed you. Because the bottom line is this country has adopted the Mar-a-Lago Accord, which I've been speaking about for many, many months now. And now the author of the Mar-a-Lago Accord, which is what's driving all of our trade negotiations, by the way, which the essence of the Mar-a-Lago Accord is extortion, that you use trade to extort countries to give you mineral rights, investments. Basically, it's extortion. That is how we are running our trade right now. So this extortion racket is 8.8 trillion, not 17, not 20. And it's tied to these very questionable relationships with countries where I pretty much think we've strong-armed them and or threatened that we wouldn't provide security, because that is also explicitly in the Mar-a-Lago Accord, that part of trade negotiations should include whether or not a country receives our protection militarily. So I don't know, you might think, maybe there's someone out there who thinks, oh, that's just fucking a boss move. That's not a boss move. That is literally, first of all, pushing countries to not trust us, not know who we are, basically. And furthermore, it's hurting you and me because we now have to pay more for everything because there has been either actual tariffs imposed that increase the prices because the tariffs will eventually and in part flow down to us, right? I just and notice that the trade deficit, or excuse me, our national debt under this administration is going up. So the line that the revenue from tariffs would help the national debt go down isn't happening because the national debt continues to rise. This is a boondoggle. And we are being lied to. And the corporations generally are going along with it because they get a bunch of fucking tax breaks, which is why he needed the big, beautiful bullshit bill to pass so that it could codify the reward for these companies and whatever trouble they're going to go to or not to comply. That's why they're doing it. And if they gave him enough money during his inauguration, then he finds a way to carve out exemptions for them. Apple. I mean, he promised them in this big bullshit bill, there is the ability for corporations to expense 100% of their expenses. 100%. God, this is not I'm not just some fucking left-wing communist. I understand some parts of the economy, and I'm actually fine with free market as long as people don't get fucked up the ass in the bad way. But I also believe wholly in a redistribution of wealth. Don't even get it twisted.
There's never been anything like what you're seeing, and it's based on good policy and common sense and leadership.
Mr. President, what is Canada giving you in return? If you say Mr. Carney's going to be leaving,
They're not going to negotiate in front of you,
Well, you'll
idiots.
find out, but I think the people of Canada, they will love
Precious
us again.
time wasted.
Most of them still do. If you say only 25%, I assume a lot of them, I think they love us. And you know what? I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but I like it a lot. And I watched some of the greatest hockey games I've ever. How good were those games, right?
Yeah, very good. We're coming down for the World Series, Mr. President.
Oh, good.
Canadians.
By the way, your team is looking pretty good. Yeah, go.
Mr. President, will you sign a trade deal with Canada that doesn't include supply managed goods like dairy, for example? If the federal government.
Well, a deal would include dairy. I mean, it's going to include everything.
He's
We'll do a
slurring.
comprehensive.
Oh, he's slurring.
It's trying to include everything.
Identified programs to eliminate under this shutdown?
This could be an aneurysm.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, go Blue Jays.
Sure.
Which ones?
We have a lot. I'm not going to tell you, but we'll be announcing it pretty soon. But we have a lot of things that we're going to eliminate and permanently eliminate. You know, one of the things
What's
that
that
we
mean?
have is some advantage, you could say. But because of the shutdown, which I think they made a big mistake, we're able to take out billions and billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse. And they've handed it, on a silver platter.
Russ Vogt.
And you know Russell Vogt, he's a serious person, very serious person, and he's sitting there and he's getting ready to cut things. And this is something that was handed to us by, I assume, Schumer. I just don't know if Schumer has any power anymore. I look at your leadership, I don't know who to speak to. I'll tell you what, I'm getting calls from Democrats wanting to meet. I never even heard their names before, and they're claiming to be leader. The Democrats have no leader. They remind me of Somalia, okay? You know? And I met the president of Somalia. I told him about the problem he's got. I said, you have somebody from Somalia who's telling us how to run our country. She's from Somalia. He said, would you like to take her back? He said, no, I don't want her. Okay, you know who I'm talking about? Say it again.
He's talking about Ilhan Omar. He's talking about Ilhan Omar. And sending her back to Somalia. He doesn't know how to say her name.
How many permanent jobs are you talking about to be eliminated?
Well, I can tell you, I'll be able to tell you that in 4 or 5 days if this keeps going on.
4 or 5 days.
If this keeps going on, it'll be substantial. And a lot of those jobs will never come back. But you're going to have...
What are you going to do with all those people? So you're going to increase your unemployment rate?
Actually.
Is there anything the Prime Minister has done that's making it more
You're going to have closer to a balanced budget.
Prime
What?
Minister has done that's making it more difficult or easier to reach people?
No, I think
I
he's
thought we
a
were taking
great
in more
prime
revenue
minister.
than ever.
He
Wouldn't
could
we have
represent
enough?
me anytime. I will tell you, I'm not saying that because he's... No, he is a very strong, very good leader. He's a nice man, but he can be nasty. He can be very nasty. Maybe as nasty as anybody.
How?
I think Canada, let me put it this way, I can tell you this because I deal with lots of leaders all over the world. He is a world-class leader. He's a man that knows what he wants, and I'm not surprised to see that he won the election and won it substantially, and I would think he's more popular now. He's a good man. He does a great job, and he's a tough negotiator.
So then what's holding things up? If he's a great man and you want to do a deal with Canada, why aren't you?
Because I want to be a great man, too. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. That could have been good.
I think you got that one.
That could have been good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hard to finish on a better note.
All right. Bobo says hi. She is called. So Bobo says hello, and she misses everyone very much. Especially her mommy. All right. I don't think I need to hear about, well, actually, I guess I will. We're going to skip through the Republicans, though. Oh, actually, you know what I wanted to do? Well, let's just take a minute. Oh, my God. Let's take a break. Let's take a breath. Let's take a breather breath. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Wow. What a way to start the day. I told her I'd call her back. Canada didn't have to say anything and came off winning. Yeah. I don't know. I do kind of wonder. Yeah, exactly. I do kind of wonder what foreign leaders, I mean, does something happen when you sit in that chair across from him and then all of a sudden you have to be like really a sycophant? Like, is it the sycophant chair? Oh my God, you guys are so cute. I'm gonna take a screenshot and show Bobo all the people saying hi to her. I think that's so cute. Hold on. That'll make her feel better. Yeah, he came off like a simpering twit, which is really what he is. But I kind of wonder. Yeah, I didn't think that Carney looked all that strong there, to be honest with you. She is enjoying Europe very much so. Very much. She really loves where she is, and so far so good. So fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Ruta was gross. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I will say he wasn't quite as much of a sycophant as like Ruta or other people have been. But fine. Aw, thanks. But good morning. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I'm like, what? I don't know what's wrong with me. Oh, have I decided about this evening's documentary? I didn't decide yet because I am very behind in my thinking. Oh my God, it's already 10 a.m. You have to go to work. Oh, bye, SB. Ruta killed the sexy vibe. Yeah, he kind of did with that, but I'd still have sex. But anyway. World leaders and the people that want to stalk them. Actually, I didn't realize it is 3 hours. I probably will go ahead and wrap this for right now. Oh, God. But I wanted to listen to the Colorado conversion therapy case as well, because I missed that. I actually had that. I can't be courted. Women of Iceland. Yes, we could do the Women of Iceland. Let's do that. Thank you, Pepper. We've been wanting to watch that since we started movie nights, and I just always forget about it. So there's this, what is it? Hold on, let me see where it is. Hold on to your love. Yeah, today was kind of like I didn't quite make it today. Yeah. Women of Iceland strike. There we go. Okay. The day the women shut down Iceland. Oh wait, where's the documentary? I wanted to tell you what the documentary is. The day Iceland stood still. Is that what it is? No. God damn, where the fuck? I've had this like in my thing forever. Well, anyway, I'll find it. But there is a documentary about women completely shutting down Iceland, basically. A Lysistrata thingy. Oh gosh, I don't remember that. I think it was an everything strike, not just sex. No, it was everything. They walked out. They totally walked out, like physically. It wasn't that they were like, no show tomorrow. No, wait, what? No, I have a show tomorrow. There's gonna be a show tomorrow, and it has been a wild day. Sorry. But I really want to watch I want to somehow fit in the Colorado conversion therapy case, which perhaps what we can do is add that on, because I know tomorrow morning there will be some, oh man, why can't I remember what anything is going to happen? Why can't I remember anything? Okay, wait, let me show you, let me tell you what's going to happen. Dang it. Because we've just got a lot to catch up on. And so tomorrow there's a SCOTUS here. There's a SCOTUS case on mail-in ballots that I wanted to hear. And then, yeah, that's next. Oh, that's next week. Okay. So tomorrow there's a mail-in, but I think we'll also tag on the replay. If you haven't listened to it, I would like to listen to the Colorado conversion therapy case that was heard in front of the Supreme Court. And I have links to those in today's thing. I'll have the link to the actual hearing so that if you did want to go and listen to it. But I want to listen to that tomorrow, as well as the current case of mail-in ballots. And I'm sure there will be other stuff that we have to deal with. So, but yeah. And then tonight, documentary, it will be at 5 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Note the time change, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, everything in between and outside, so that people have a little bit easier time on a weeknight. I just wanted to move it up a little bit. Especially as we get into winter and da 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 da. When is the Senate car hearing? Oh yeah, when is the FCC hearing? Hold on. When is that? Oh wait, God, is that Thursday? Shit, hold on. Let's see. Do 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 do. Wah 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 wah. Okay. Federal Communications Commission Chair Brendan Carr, who drew sharp criticism, blah, 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 will testify before the Senate Commerce Committee. The panel, which has jurisdiction over the FCC, is chaired by Senator Ted Cruz. A date has not been set. Oh, well, that was 6 days ago. So do we have, hold on. Because mommy knows how to check for things. Yes, mommy knows. Oops. Now I fucked up. Okay. Da 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 da. Did they really start at 6? I'm gonna be so mad. Da 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 da. Da da da. Wait, today's Tuesday, right? Oh my God. Da da. Da da da. Well, I should just memberships and assignments. Commerce. Ow. 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 Oh, okay. I don't see anything yet scheduled on the Commerce Committee website. I'm sorry, my eyelashes are fucking up. Oh man, it's like. Sorry, guys. Anyway, Thursday? Is it Thursday? See, I don't see it on the Commerce, the website of the actual, I don't see it on there. I have this, this is tomorrow. Shut your yap. How Uncle Sam jawboned big tech into silencing Americans, which sounds really boring, but we're probably going to watch it. Well, actually, we won't because we have a bunch of SCOTUS stuff to do. Anyway, so I will be like a dog with a bone when it comes to the Brendan Carr hearing. So I'll find out. And if that's the case, then it'll be our Thursday viewing. Maybe I have it on there. Hold on. Oops. Let me go back. Baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. There was something in everything about you. Ow. Ow. fix my shit. Okay, wait. Oh, why didn't I have anything for the 9th? Okay, that's weird. Any old way. I'll figure it out. Oops. And we will be live for the car hearing and all that kind of stuff. So no worries. Yeah, the documentary tonight, this is one we've been wanting to watch for a long time, so I'm very much looking forward to it too. Thank you for the reminder. I almost feel like it's just overwhelming how many things we have that we want to watch. But I appreciate it. All right, so I will drop all the social stuff in the socials for tonight's movie. Please join us on Discord, in our beautiful Discord community that is so beautiful and wonderful and like full of information. Oh my God. I go to Discord just to find out what's going on. And then I go and find like, so I really have come to depend on the Discord to like find things. So I appreciate it and find like good links. There's some great links being dropped in the Discord too. So bravo to this group of people, fine people, who are continuing to support. And thank you for, I'm so sorry about this morning. Something's not right. I've been staying up really late. I've been kind of like not myself. I've been not myself for the last couple days. So I'll find out why, but I don't know why. But I've not been myself, so I'll try and figure it out. And I'm not sure it's going to get any better this week, but I'm going to try. I'm going to set a louder alarm, first of all. That's the first thing I'll do. I want to say the cats are the ones that got me up today. So thank God for the cats. Anyway. All right. Try and be kind. And my Bobo is gone. Yeah, a little bit of my North Star is gone right now, but that's okay. I mean, I'm still so happy for her. She's having a great time. We miss each other, though, that's for sure. We talk about 3 times a day. So yeah. Anyway. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you. God, thanks for being so patient and with me. I'm so sorry. Oh, there's something about Black women boycotting successfully in the U.S. They've done it before. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. The power of Black women's voices in organizing, in community support, in change, in protest, everything. It's huge. Huge. Is there a documentary before about it or no? I wonder. Yeah. So anyway, I love you guys. I definitely will talk to you. Hopefully I'll see you tonight on the Discord. And if not, hopefully I see you tomorrow. All right. Thanks again. Take care. Oh, thanks, Val. Love you so much, darling.